Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Happy Thursday to all those who celebrate. However, you may be absorbing the show on the YouTube, KSLSports.com, over the air. And a proper hello to our friends from the future consuming via podcast. Joining in studio right now. You hear him in the morning. He was on flying solo today, and he's nice enough to come back and do an hour with me in the afternoon. You know him. You love him. He is David James.
Good afternoon. I almost said good morning. I just had to have it.
What's up, DJ?
Well, I should be able to adapt. I'm in the other chair. I'm on the opposite side of the studio now, so. It's hot out there. It is hot. I've been running some errands. I've been out there getting stuff done in the world, and I am glad to be back in our air-conditioned studios.
You know what I love about your new situation that was different than your situation for so long is that you're here. I ran into you in the parking lot the other day. Several hours after your show, and I had a chance to say hello and catch up. You're able to drop by. I know you're doing. God, how many projects in the building are you doing now? I think you're on 75 different podcasts on every different topic. I mean, it's great though. I love it that your time is not divided.
I've got one marketable skill. I can talk. So, yeah, I've done a few podcasts.
You don't say.
Yeah, that's the one.
No,
that's it.
Okay.
Can you fix things? No, not really. That's why my last phone call was a guy about the sprinklers, man.
Oh, dude.
The water to the vegetable garden? Uh-oh.
Sprinkler problems are so maddening.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't understand why they break all the time.
So maddening. Well, anything water runs through, it's probably going to have issues along the way. But my problem is that I have to go to the hardware store 16 times. I know it's cliche, but I buy the wrong this and that, and I'm back, and it's just awful. I'm with you. I'm not smart enough for that stuff. But can I start here before we can dive in? We can dive into some basketball, some jazz. I know you had Kevin on this morning breaking down the NFL.
Yep.
But let me ask you this. Okay, so David and I sit on the same side of the studio. You sit here, and so do I.
As we see at the left, but on TV, yeah, to be the right. But yes.
So you usually are on this side. Now, occasionally, you and I both have been known to leave ourselves logged in after our show.
Everyone's done it at some point, and most people are good teammates. There was one exception, but that person doesn't work here anymore.
Okay, all right. So I think
that person has never worked in this building. That was a while ago.
But no, I have your back on it. I
love that. Did I leave it on today?
It's like same side. Yes. Okay. So the truth is, you did leave it on today.
Okay.
Or leave it logged in today. And did you listen to Scotty and Coach at all today, their show at all?
A little bit. They were on remote. I heard some of it, but I didn't hear all of it.
They had an NFL guy come on, the Vinny Heyer. He's come on the station at times, NFL guy. And what did he call Bo Nix, an average quarterback or something? He was really down on Bo Nix. And so that then inspired kind of a bit because Scotty was grumpy that he was down on Bo Nix. So people started using the voicemail thing. And Tim actually sent in his own voicemail talking about how crappy Bo Nix is or how crappy Bo Nix is going to be. So I thought for a second. Now, this is the part. Would you have found this funny? I thought for a second of logging into your Twitter and tweeting at Scotty, Bo Nix is the worst, or something like that. like that.
You want him to play something?
Yeah, no. He's not listening.
No, I know that. That's because Lloyd's in there talking to him.
Now
Lloyd, leave people alone in the control room so they can produce. Stop distracting them.
Now he's missed 2 of them.
Lloyd, I have to talk to you in the break. There's an issue that has to be dealt with.
All right. Wait, here you go. Christian?
It was off. I've been playing it.
Like that? I couldn't hear it in my ear?
The board was off by accident. We were playing something earlier, and I forgot to turn the board back on.
Okay.
So I was playing it.
All right.
That's my bad.
It's a show bit. Anytime we say like that.
Like that?
He has to.
Thank you.
He has to play that particular drop. Do you know where that came from?
I do not.
Oh, we'll explain that here in just 1 second. But my question was, would you have been mad? Because I would.
Mad is strong. I probably would not have been pleased. I would have
Okay.
turned all the Bronco nut jobs out there loose on me. One of the cool things about no longer being responsible for not picking games for CBS.
Which is so my favorite bit ever. I'm so sad it's over.
Oh, my gosh. The number of people hated me because they didn't pick the Broncos. The number of people hated me because they did pick the Broncos, when realistically, if CBS spends billions of dollars,
Yeah.
they just don't let weekend sportscasters pick.
No.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
And I don't have to deal with that anymore. So
So you don't want to step in it with the Broncos fans. Okay.
I don't need to deal with those
All right.
people because they are crazy.
Yeah, worst people
they
in the
are
world.
nut jobs.
I believe
Their
it.
mental health is not questionable. It is poor. At least the ones who reach out to me. The normal ones who just are like, is it on this weekend? Okay. They're fine. But the ones, those people, they're out of control.
I have a funny trolling an obnoxious Broncos fan story for you, but we can leave that for another day because I do want to explain this. So we have created our bit, our like that bit, and it's just
Like that?
It's an homage to the greatest play-by-play moment of all time. And since you are an experienced play-by-play guy, I'm curious to your response to this. All right, so we'll play the whole thing for you. Go ahead, Christian.
One more gone but not forgotten, and that's our sweet Lucy. At the age of 12, she was run over in our driveway.
Oh! Like that? Was she run over like that?
That's super awkward. What a conversation to broadcast. B, what a conversation for apparently during a game. What's going on
During
there?
a game, and it's a big dunk. I mean, the dude on the floor really does run over a guy and dunk it.
That's my dad
like
was
that?
my dad was traumatized because my grandmother
Like that?
backed over his dog and killed it.
Oh, well, then don't bring us down, David.
Sorry,
It was a funny moment.
I don't find any of that entertaining.
don't bring us.
I was
don't
told
bring
never
us
to bring
down.
that up with Grandma, and I never did.
No, I wouldn't either. Good call.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
so happy you're bringing it up on the radio.
Would have cost me a lot of sugar and snacks and treats and whatever. And Grandma would have gone to cry somewhere.
Oh, dude, grandmas are the best. Oh, you'll get a kick out of this, and then
Okay.
we could talk basketball. So, speaking of grandmas, it's my mother's birthday, and she's gone shopping all day with my 9-year-old.
Twist for golf clubs.
Oh, I hope so. No, for whatever.
Yeah.
My mom only had sons. She, not that sons can't be into shopping, but she never got the.
I have another downer story about that, but
Oh,
I'll
no,
save
we
you. The
don't-
dog was enough to ruin the segment. I'm not going to tell you this one. I'll tell you this one in the break. You'll be like, oh, boy.
But my mom got a chance to go shopping with my 9-year-old all day, and it was cool. My
Mm-hmm.
9-year-old was super stoked about it. And my point being, grandmas are the best.
True story. Both my grandmothers lived a long time, and they both lived in San Diego, and they both spoiled me in their own ways spectacularly.
Yeah, that's the best.
And if I said anything other than that, I would be a big old liar, and I'd be struck by lightning. I mean, they focused on it. And not just me, but all their grandkids.
Yeah.
And one had 5 grandkids, and the other had 7, and just spoiled them, all of them. Like there was no tomorrow.
My parents have 2. And it looks like it's going to stay
They're
at 2.
spoiling them like
yeah,
no
that's-
tomorrow.
That's really good news. Really good news
I
for
saw
my
a clip
kids.
on social media about that, and it's parents are taping their kids and their grandmother. You're like, Grandma, why are you doing that? And the grandma looks up at the kid like, because I want to. I'm spoiling them. That kind of.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of clips like that.
Yeah.
Mind your own business.
Like that?
Exactly. I get this game now.
Yeah, it's funny. And then it starts to affect your personal life, which is because you kind of in your brain saying, like that.
Like that.
Like that?
So that's why it's a good bit.
All right.
Okay, as Christian has coined the term, David, we are still awaiting for LeBron to make
waiting. Oh, very nice, Christian.
to make LeDecision.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let Miami accidentally let it slip. I think.
Okay,
the Heat know the answer.
You think so?
Yeah, I do, and I don't like it. I'd rather go to Cleveland or Philly. He could win a title in Miami, and I'd rather have him in Cleveland or Philly. Now, if he does win a title in Miami, if he gets close, then I will be entertained. My entertainment options right now involve LeBron going to Cleveland or to Philly. I'd love to see Cleveland's got the whole sentimentality. Could he get one more? I think it'd be fascinating with Donovan. I'm already kind of paying attention to the team because of Donovan. I don't watch a lot of games, but I'm always checking their box scores. And then later in the year, national TV games, I'll check in on them and just see what it looks like and all that. And so him going there, they clearly need playoff experience. They clearly need a vet for big moments in the playoffs. They don't need him to carry them during the regular season, which is good because he's not cut out for that. I don't think they're a championship team with him, but I think they're close enough to be interesting. Philly, I'm interested in watching all the parts to see if they fit together. There's a lot of talent there, but you're not building a fantasy football team or fantasy basketball team. And, will they share the ball? Will it work? I actually think that some of the injuries work in their favor because I'm not sure how often you want all those guys healthy for a long period of time.
But your point is not enough shots to go around for all the shooters.
Yes. Okay. What I said about Boston once upon a time missed.
Thought I'd drop that in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Too many shots, too many shooters, not enough shots. Not enough shots to go around for all the shooters. Miami, not enough perimeter defense scoring. They got some bigs. They got some size. And LeBron would get to have the ball and be creative, which he is not prime LeBron. Stop it with the people who try to convince us that he's even 90% of prime LeBron. But I think 75% of prime LeBron is still a really good player. And the Lakers won a playoff series. Not that they were going to go anywhere, not that they were going to win two, not that they're building towards anything. But the fact is, you could kick out the 14 worst teams and match people up. And flawed Houston, certainly injured Houston, but injured LA too. And the Lakers won, and LeBron played at a high level. So, but I just don't trust Giannis to stay healthy. Giannis isn't Embiid, but he's not far away from it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm with you. I think LeBron stinks now. So I don't know if
I also have Pat Riley issues.
I don't know if he's getting anybody over the hump. But let me ask you this, because I don't know. But I do know that James Harden, this is my conspiracy theory for you. James Harden has not signed. Now, everybody kind of knows that Adele, Rich Paul's girlfriend, promised James that there would be an extension in Cleveland.
I think there need to be more drops, just randomly, celebrity drops, randomly work through the show like that.
Oh yeah. No, you've hit on two staples. You really have. Anytime we talk about Clutch, it's not Rich Paul that does anything. It's Adele.
Now that you have a hello, you also need a goodbye.
Oh, there you go. All right. We'll get on that.
Yep.
But anyway, James Harden hasn't signed yet. He was promised an extension, which is why nobody is really talking about it. But why hasn't he signed? And did you see?
I have a theory. Call on me.
Okay. Well, but did you see there were pictures released of James Harden last week or from something?
I don't stalk James Harden. And I missed that.
He's maybe 290 pounds.
Boy.
He is really
if I'm
fat guy.
LeBron, that makes me not want to go to Cleveland.
If he's free agent James Harden, or he's worried about his contract, he's not going to be fat James Harden. So why hasn't he signed yet? Now, I'd like to call on you, David James, because could they be not signing him because they're going to work out some sort of sign and trade and then sign?
I suppose I think the first thing is if James needs to give up a little money to get LeBron there, he'll do it. Not a lot, but a little.
Right.
And so that the number will just be adjusted and he won't sign yet. That was my default go-to. Is hey, if we need a little more room to get LeBron in here, I'll take one for the team and we'll do it.
Okay. All right. Well, that would fit. But I wonder, and we saw these.
And they can make him whole by giving him an extra year on the end. There's ways around it. And so they'll figure that out.
But I wonder if LeBron really wants to sign a veteran minimum contract. My mind keeps coming back to that.
And if the answer to that is no, then it would be good that Harden didn't sign.
That's what I'm saying.
But LeBron wants to win, and I don't think he wants to play with Harden 100 pounds overweight.
Well.
Or 80 or 60 or whatever.
The problem...
I did not see that video. I want to find that now and see if Harden is in that poor shape. That's
Christian, you saw it. He looked quite heavy. What?
It's like a biannual tradition.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. You should. take a look
I'm
at
looking
that.
it up right now.
But okay, so the problem if he goes to Cleveland is there's not enough dribbles to go around for all the dribbling.
Yeah, no, I get it. Who plays off the ball?
Because Donovan doesn't want to, James Harden doesn't want to, and LeBron James certainly doesn't want to. So
I have a photo. Okay, well, number one, is this real? Or is someone messing with a camera? Because otherwise, yeah, he's too big.
Well, I don't know.
But everything can be photoshopped and tweaked, and then below it, people are really playing with it.
But would it shock you if James Harden,
No, it would not. That's why I looked for the photos. And now that I see it, I'm wondering, okay, how much of this is real? How exaggerated is it? Because you're right, he looks big.
So
if he were an NBA player,
if he were really truly worried about signing with a team, he wouldn't be in that condition, I would say. So he is going to sign with Cleveland, but why is he waiting? And your point about maybe giving your LeBron a little extra cheese, that could be it. But I do wonder, and it makes me still my indication all along would have been Cleveland. But the reason I'm bothered is because he's not good enough to make any of this attention worth it. And yet I lead the show with LeBron.
Say that again. Let's let that. I want to marinate in that.
Okay.
He's not good enough.
He's not good enough to deserve this kind of. He's not good enough anymore for Adam Silver to be holding up the dang schedule release. Are you serious?
It's not. That's where he's not good enough. I mean, I'm the one who just told you, don't tell me he's 90% of what he was. Tell me he's 75. So I get that. But celebrity moves the needle, and TV partners absolutely positively want to put him on, even if it's so people can hate watch him. And do not underestimate that. People watch sports to root against athletes and root against teams.
Okay.
The Cowboys don't get those ratings because they're super popular. They get them because they're both super popular and super unpopular.
I get it. But all three of those teams that we're talking about, the East Coast teams, are all going to be on TV a zillion times because it's not like any of those teams stink without LeBron.
And I get that, but nonetheless, Cleveland gets 10 more appearances if they have him than if they don't. They'll get some without him. Absolutely. I'm with you.
They're an Eastern Conference Finals team. Donovan Mitchell's an all-NBA guy.
Sure, but I think also by watchability, you could argue Cleveland will be the fifth most watchable ESPN team.
Yeah.
Well, or fifth most watchable team for ESPN or, whoever, NBC,
Well, listen, if he goes to Miami, they're not winning anything because they don't have anybody who can shoot the ball.
But people will watch Giannis and LeBron.
I get it.
And people will watch them lose. Does NBC right here on our sister TV station want LeBron and Miami on a Sunday night even if they get beat? I think the answer to that is yes, absolutely they do.
I think with Giannis, it's already yes, though.
People like to root against LeBron. More people will watch them lose if LeBron is there than will watch them lose if LeBron is not there.
But if the conversation is where do I think he's going to go, I'm still kind of Cleveland is such a LeBron thing. Ending one final chapter. Mm-hmm. The little kid from Akron. Mm-hmm. It all comes to a close.
But going home isn't just a LeBron thing. Going home is
I know, but
Americana, apple pie, blah blah blah.
It is, but that's why he would do it. Is because of he is
that's
more.
That's why a lot of people would do it. That's why a lot of people want it done.
No. But he is more about his legacy than maybe any professional athlete ever. That's why he's so sensitive about the goat thing. He's crazy. He's got all his minions who fight the goat fight for him every day because it's so dang important to him.
He is more about his legacy than anyone ever.
Because Michael Jordan left a big legacy, right? But he was about the myth making him money. And maybe LeBron is too. He certainly hasn't left a lot on the table. But Michael changed marketing. He changed sports marketing forever.
100%.
Forever.
It's got to be the shoes money. Yeah,
he was not worried about his legacy.
Be like Mike, the Gatorade spots, the epic Mickey D's.
So Larry
Bird shoot off. Yeah. I mean, there's so many campaigns for so many companies just crushing it. But Jordan is about his legacy. I mean, he went to the trouble of shooting a bunch of video, sitting on it for more than 20 years and editing a 10-part 10-hour documentary series.
But when did he do it?
When someone else was about to be labeled the GOAT and he cared about his legacy.
Oh, no. But when did he do it, which is the most Michael Jordan thing of Michael Jordan things? He did it when a pandemic shut down the world and everybody was watching TV. And remember,
but he caught a break there.
No, well, kind of. It was in production,
right?
But they fast forwarded everything just to get it on during the pandemic.
But he had broadcasters calling him, say, "Hey, we need content. We know it's about ready. Finish it. We'll give you more."
Absolutely, but it was maximizing. It was maximizing everything. It was maximizing Michael.
But I smell money.
But that's my point. He was all
but not
about
legacy. I mean, it was legacy.
It was legacy, but it was capitalizing on the legacy. Like if you look at LeBron and Michael, they both created a myth, right? They've both created this.
That's where it's iffy because that is about the money, but that is about the legacy. They go hand in hand.
They do, but I do think LeBron did it because of the attention and the legacy and the story. I think it's why he went back to Cleveland in the first place. But
I'll tell you who worked on their legacy really hard. You haven't mentioned yet. P. Rose. There's somebody who worked on their legacy.
Well, he did some damage to his reputation.
He wanted a legacy. He did some damage to his legacy. He tried to rebuild his legacy, got frustrated when he couldn't, and then he did some more damage to his legacy.
Before he passed, he had maybe one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen, where it was when Shohei's interpreter was going to jail, and Pete Rose tweeted out, said, "I should have blamed it on my interpreter." Hilarious. Coming from Pete Rose. Really funny. All right, we'll hit DJ with the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next, David James, nice enough to hang out with me for an hour. Stay tuned for that. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What you think of my new saddle, Lizard?
Oh, yeah, it's swell, mate. Proper comfy.
Just one of the upgrades I've added to this puppy.
What else have you got on here?
New air intake filter, quick shifter, and a beefy muffler.
Well, that's why you ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance. So you can cover your custom parts and equipment. Now let's hear that muffler purr.
All right, hang on tight to my love handles.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Brought to you by our friends at J. Brooks Jewelers. Actually, David's dear friend, John from J. Brooks Jewelers.
John from J. Brooks Jewelers.
Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials, J. Brooks Jewelers. The reason, though, that is funny is because you have known John, and we've had as a station, a relationship with J. Brooks for...
I'm bad on time, but certainly a decade, absolutely pre-pandemic.
Plus, probably.
Yeah.
So
he'd be a better, but whether it's 2019 or 2015, I don't know.
But they rock, and we love them. So...
True story.
All right, Christian, where do you want to start?
Number 1, the Trib put out an article talking about Kalani Sitake. BYU does not want to be the highest bidder when it comes to NIL.
It's not what they're saying anyway. Kalani wants them to be there for development and overall, well-being as opposed to just there for the check.
He's been very clear about that. If it's just about the money, they get turned off recruiting kids. If that's the first thing that comes up, they get turned off recruiting kids. They'll pay people, and they will. Their NIL is good. And if it weren't, they'd be losing more kids. And they have a fair number of kids who are, A, pretty good football players, and B, not church members. Certainly for the kids who grow up, church members, the return missionary kid, there are absolutely other things than money. It's not all about the money. But I think in those situations, you got to at least be in the ballpark. And it's basketball, not football, but it was so public. And I don't think there's that much difference in the way high school athlete thinks, regardless of their sport. It's like, you think you're worth a certain amount of money. Well, for A.J. DeBonce, it was like $5 million. If you're not paying me $5 million, I'm not coming. Now, there were multiple schools that are going to pay him $5 million, but he didn't turn it into an auction for the highest bidder. there was also a, where do I want to be? Where do I feel comfortable? Who's going to develop me? Who's got NBA experience on the coaching staff? What kind of schedule are you going to play? What kind of competition am I going to face? They had all these other questions. And that's a pretty good balance. I think it's unrealistic to say, well, the money just doesn't matter. Well, if you're independently wealthy, that's great, but that's going to be a super small portion of the population.
Yeah.
So, but to say, hey, I'm worth X, you got to get to X, and then let's see how many competitors there are at that point and where I really feel comfortable. To go someplace where you're miserable just for the money, whether you're a college athlete or you're our age, and we're different ages, doesn't matter where you are in your career, to go just for the money, it had better be a pile of money because there is a decent chance you're not happy. And when you complain about not being happy, you're going to get hit with the legendary line, which I think started with Mad Men and now has been repeated over and over. I know Harrison Ford likes to use it. That's what the money's for.
Right.
Well, hey, that's what the money's for.
I want to channel your co-host in the morning, Patrick Kinahan, because I've heard you guys have this discussion a bunch of times because of that anonymous quote that a BYU donor gave that said they will not be outbid. And then they've spent a considerable amount of time and energy running away from that. And what Kalani is saying here is no different than any other team in the country or coach or whatever is going to say. I just don't understand why they're putting that story out there and running away from the NIL and from the money so publicly and so much. What does it matter? And you know what? You're telling me that if it takes, whatever it takes to get Bear Bachmeier onto the field, well, you're going to do it. Whether money's his first priority or his eighth priority, you're going to give him money and you're going to give him a lot of it. He's there because BYU has resources. So why do they so much energy into running from that?
Yeah, and
I don't get it.
I don't think everybody has the same agenda, although it might sound similar, or maybe it just sounds exactly alike to some people.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody has the same agenda. When I hear coaches say it, and I've heard coaches say it in multiple sports, and I've heard coaches say it, some who are at BYU, some who are not, some who are in the state of Utah, some are out of the state of Utah. What they have in common is, we'll pay you. Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State, the ex-coach, goes on this list. We'll pay you. But if all you ever do is talk about money, you're not going to watch enough film. You're not going to work hard enough in the weight room. You're not going to put in the extra time at home watching more film, looking at your playbook, doubling and tripling down to make sure that you know every formation, you know every defense, everything the other defense does. You know, if you're an offense and you're a receiver, you know what the quarterback is thinking. You don't have to look at him. You know what the adjustment's going to be. You know when and where the ball is going to be thrown because of the look the defense gives you. And you need everyone on the defense to see the offense break this, to see the personnel, see the formation, and know what play is coming. Because you've all watched that much. When someone doesn't know, it breaks everything down. And if all you do is money, 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 the other stuff's going to suffer. And you're not going to be the best player you can be. We will address the money, you will get a pile of money, and then we will move on. And if you can't embrace that as a player, the move on part, then Kalani and a bunch of other coaches are next. And one of the cool quotes that goes back to this is Kalani was asked once about how fast somebody was or how fast a group of players was. I think it was last year. And he said, well, I mean, I want them to be fast, but I also want them to run in the right direction when the ball is snapped.
Great line.
Fabulous line, right?
Great line.
And we're talking to Bronco one morning. Bronco Mendenhall, Aggie coach, comes on, and I tell him that, and this is Bronco, who's not known for being a laugh a minute, right? He's a fairly serious guy. And he's like, oh, Bronco has so used that line. Bronco has absolutely stood in a room with the defense or with the backs of the linebackers like, I want you to be fast, but could you run the right way? Because every coach has had kids blow assignments, run, and they're like, we talked about it in film. We talked about it on the practice field. We talked about it again in film, and you still ran the wrong way. Yeah. What is the key?
I'm glad you brought up Bronco, though, because listen, Bronco has said something very similar to these quotes to Kalani that we're talking about. Yeah. You're going to come to Utah State for more, and if you're going to be on the team, more. Now, Bronco coaching at Utah State, they don't have any money. So he actually means that. Kalani, they're flush with dough. Why are they running from it? I don't get it.
They have, everybody has money, right? But they don't have as much money as someone who might pry their kid away from them. So don't say the Aggies don't have any money. They have some money. And that's why they're prying kids away from other schools. But they got kids prying away from them because they're in the middle of the food chain. There are both bigger fish and smaller fish.
Does Broncos quote similar to Kalani's mean more, though? I think it does. But I think they're both just getting the PR line out there that they've got to get out there.
Well,
I just don't know why Kalani's doing it.
They do have bosses. Well, he has bosses in the church.
Why are they so sensitive?
Well, because there are some who want it to be 40 years ago and have that not be an issue. Yeah. And they want to, and that's just not realistic. It's not true. I don't think it's honest. I don't think you should talk to the public like that because the public knows better.
Yeah.
Right? So,
like that?
Yes, exactly. So, but when a coach, you got to allow a coach for they're dealing with numbskulls who get so focused on the money and then they don't work as hard and they blow assignments. And that's why coaches say it. Now, why do other people say it? Why does a church leader say it? Why does a school president say it? Why does maybe a longtime booster say it? They might have a different agenda. I think they probably do have a different agenda than a coach who says it. It lands differently based on who's saying it.
What is next, Christian?
Number 2, Shams with the latest on LeDecision today, talking about LeBron James, said he's not waiting for a trade involving Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving to make his decision.
Nothing left. The teams are the teams. The information's the information. LeBron has everything he needs to make a decision. The conversations have happened. They're not, from my understanding, my sources tell me LeBron James, his agent Rich Paul, that inner circle, they're not waiting for another domino right now. They're not waiting for Anthony Davis to get traded anywhere. They're not waiting for anyone else to move around anywhere. The teams, Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Philadelphia, Minnesota, they're set. Those are the teams. Wherever he ends up, I mean, you're looking at minimum deals, you're looking at exceptions. The contracts are not going to be this grand part of this deal. LeBron James was very clear from the very beginning. This is going to be based on happiness in terms of chance to contend for a championship, a chance to compete at a high level, join a culture. That doesn't come from going to a team and then gutting that team from multiple different players. Now, listen, if during the first week of July, LeBron James and Rich Paul told, the Heat or the Cavs or the Warriors, hey, we need you to do this and we're coming, those teams might have done that. But that message was not delivered. And so you just kind of have to read between the lines. If you're some of these teams, you need to figure it out. But it's at a point now, July 23rd, it's really up to LeBron James. The entire NBA is waiting on LeBron James' decision.
The entire NBA is waiting.
Well, everybody's waiting on the schedule, so there's that. The commissioner told the truth. And on top of that, you got unrestricted free agents like DeMar DeRozan. Once LeBron signs, there'll be some teams with some money left. There'll be some teams who have roster spots to fill and money to spend. And then he can get on with his life.
None of those teams have any money. And that's why what Sham said is important, that the contract isn't really a deal. Yep. And he doesn't want to. I think that's interesting. He doesn't want to gut the team that he's going to sign with. So, maybe there is that. But it's not like if Cleveland doesn't get LeBron, they're going to go sign DeMar DeRozan. Maybe they would. But would DeMar DeRozan take a vet minimum contract? Because that's what they're talking about.
I've read multiple people saying there are multiple people in the league waiting for LeBron to sign. Foremost among those, DeMar DeRozan. So once he signs, I guess we'll be able to look back and figure out, because of that, he was waiting for this. Or maybe we'll hear, well, if it had been that would have impacted him. But since it didn't happen, now he does this.
By the way, I'm talking myself into Miami with this lifestyle happiness thing. Like thinking he's going to go to Miami and those reasons. Because if you really were doing happiness,
That and Miami's accidental video.
Yeah.
They put together a video with a specific date on it. Put together a video and be ready just in case.
But it doesn't have a date on it.
But when you put a date on it, come on. I think you know something.
All right. Well, bad day to be that
LeDecision.
YouTuber.
I don't think it's a Friday news dump, so I figure at this point we're waiting for a Monday. He's going to maximize it.
As much as he can.
This is right next to the decision. It's different, but it's something.
Next.
Number 3, it's late July. That means NFL training camps are underway. A week from today is the Hall of Fame game, kicking off the preseason.
Are they going to do it on that crappy field like they always do?
Yeah. Why would they change now?
I don't know. Why do they do that?
Because it's literally right next door to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I know where it is, but fix it.
What part would you like fixed?
The field.
It's a turf field.
Yeah, they get people hurt.
Well, that's all. Turf versus grass is a whole other discussion. The reason it's turf is because multiple high schools play there. There are places that have stadiums that play, a whole district plays there, a whole, they'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 games, a Thursday game, a Friday doubleheader, a Saturday tripleheader. And then the schools save money because they don't have to buy as much land and everybody has their own stadium. They have to do their own upkeep and blah, 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 blah. And they don't have to do that.
Oh, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I heard you had Kevin on today. Kevin was good, chopping up the NFL. I love it that Bo Nix sucking was a topic on Scotty and the coach because I think he's terrible. And Christian is a huge Broncos fan. So
why do you think he's terrible?
Because Christian likes him.
Okay, so it is nothing.
He doesn't actually have an opinion on it.
Nah, he's pretty bad.
How is he pretty bad if they double-digit wins, win the division, win a playoff game, they're in the conference title game, which if he had played, they might have won.
Yeah, might have.
But without him...
I don't know. Stidham's pretty good.
I think one big thing... Stidham was terrible. What are you talking about? I think one big thing they have going for them is that and I can call up his salary, I think it's around 8 or 10 million, something like that, is that they've got a lot of money to spend on the rest of the roster. And their defense is excellent. And Houston's same deal. The quarterback's still on a rookie deal. Their defense is excellent. That's a huge advantage. Now, Bo Nix is going to want to be paid. How much is he going to want to be paid? 30 mil, 40 mil, 50 mil, 60 mil. Where's that going to go? How much winning is he going to do before they negotiate that deal? And how much is that going to damage the rest of the roster? And can he really carry the show? Because there were 10 quarterbacks last year made $50 million. There'll be 12 this year. Last year, only half of the 10 made the playoffs. And Mahomes had the injury. But paying a quarterback who's had success a lot of money doesn't guarantee you more success. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, Stafford was not among the elite. Now he is. Now he's making $55 million. But he was making, I think, 15 less than that. And Seattle, how did Darnold do it? Well, they paid him $33 million. That gives him an extra $20, $25 million to spend. And they had an awesome defense. And they had not one but 2 good running backs. And on down the line, they put a great team around him, and they won the Super Bowl.
If you're going to pay a quarterback, make sure he's good.
Yeah.
Because Brock Purdy stinks.
But if Josh Allen took 40 instead of 57 or whatever he's at, would he have a Super Bowl title now because he had a better team around him?
Probably.
So you pays your money and you takes your choice. You take a little less, you might win a little more, and then you might get it back down the road. Or don't worry about it. Take all you can get.
All right, stay tuned. More with David James. One more segment with DJ coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
I think the engine's stalling out on me.
Yeah, that don't sound right.
Dang, got a lot more miles to go.
Nah, be okay, mate. You ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance and got their 24/7 emergency roadside service. They'll be here with a tow in no time.
Good, because these boots weren't made for walking.
Those riding boots are pretty sweet.
Oh, you like?
Do you think they come in a size 1 inch?
I don't know.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico. Emergency roadside service is optional coverage.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
The Synchrowave 212 from Miller is making TIG welding more approachable than ever. AutoSet takes the guesswork out of getting started by automatically adjusting your weld parameters. An intuitive graphic interface means less time setting up and more time under the hood. And the optional water cooler keeps you welding longer. Whether you're a welding expert or just getting started, the Miller Synchrowave 212 lets you tackle more with TIG.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, the worst, dude. I'm totally with
He was rude and he was stupid, and the combination was spectacular.
Yeah.
One of our former bosses from a long time ago, back when he produced the show.
Long time ago.
Not years ago, decades.
All right, DJ. That's David James, of course. Jake and Ben. Ben's out today, so DJ nice enough to spend an hour with us, which is totally great. I am glad you're here because I gotta pick your brain about something. Because Christian and I were and Ben obviously were talking yesterday about Tom Dundon trying to move the Blazers because I think that's what he's trying to do, which is a topic in and of itself. But I brought up whether it would be a race to Vegas and if they're trying to beat an expansion team to Vegas and whether that would even be a possibility. Ben kind of dismissed it, and I honestly don't know. But I did bring up the Chargers and the Raiders and how it was a race to L.A. and how did the Chargers win. And you, David James, are the perfect.
So it's like that, huh?
Perfect person to talk to.
Hey, here's a scar. Someone get a ball peen hammer and hit the scar. See if it hurts.
The San Diego Chargers fan would know.
Wow. You like that?
Like that?
DJ, hello.
That's so
like
funny.
that?
No, I wanted a hello.
Oh, hello.
I said DJ,
you
hello.
wanted the Adele. Well, you get one.
Hello.
Whatever you need, DJ.
There are parallels, and I have tweeted about that. I definitely hear Dean Spanos' voice when I hear Tom Condon talk. There is definitely, to me, a whiff of, I'm going to pretend to negotiate with you people, but I am going to behave so poorly, and the terms are going to be so one-sided that you are not going to want to give me the farm.
Nope.
And then I'm going to go, but they wouldn't build me arena, and I had to. Shut up. The only thing is, Dean Spanos took 20 freaking years to pull it off.
He played the slow game, the long game.
Oh, my gosh. Well, he moved the Chargers preseason camp to L.A. in, I think, 04 and 05. Maybe it was 03 and 04. But it was somewhere in there, 03, 04, or 05, 06, for 2 years. And the San Diego Union Tribune sent a beat writer up to the first day of camp and counted, and there were like 11 people there watching. Nobody cared. It was a sign of things to come. Nobody cares. Why are you doing this? Because there's just so much money in L.A., any fool can open the doors with an NFL team and make some money. And there's some of that going on, and Tom has a plan. I am with you. I do not believe that plan is Las Vegas, nor do I believe it's Seattle. I don't think either one of those are happening. Bill Orm's done good reporting on this. We've been trying to get him on all week. We're not. Now we'll probably be on next week when I'm on vacation. Great. But Bill writes for the Oregonian. He used to write for the Trib in between. He was down in Southern California. He's been a Laker beat writer. And Bill got a whiff of this early and put it out there. Hey, this is going to be a thing. And there's a danger this team can move, and people need to pay attention so it doesn't sneak up on them. You got to make a decision here. You're making a decades, multi-generational decision here, and you got to at least make it paying attention. Make whatever you want, but you got to be paying attention.
You got to know.
Right? You can't just stumble into this. And he got the venom, the pushback on social media, calling him stupid, calling him dumb, calling him a troublemaker, and I'm like, nope, I'm hearing Dean Spanos' voice.
Yeah.
Now, there are people who believe, and I don't know, and this is why I want to have Bill on, because Bill's closer to it. They believe that Tom doesn't have the votes to move the team. It's a majority vote to move, and he'd have to pay to move. And who can give him an arena right away? And that a lot of people think this is a bluff. And there are people in the NBA who Bill is quoted anonymously as saying he's trying to bluff the wrong people. Portland's not going to flinch, and he's going to have to settle and figure something out. And there are also people who think he's gone.
Where
he is
to,
gone.
though?
Well, immediately Vegas and Seattle, and Bill has quotes about this. Bill's done a good job on. He's a columnist now, but he's doing a good job being a reporter at the same time he's being a columnist. And he has some anonymous quotes from someone who, they do the board of governors. I don't think he has it from the owner. I think he has it from someone else. It sounds to me, although he doesn't identify him, it's an ownership level. It sounds like it's someone who's like the second vote.
Yeah.
In a governor's meeting, either the primary owner has to be there or the one person they identify. Usually there's either another family member or a lawyer or somebody who is the second person. But one of the two always has to attend these meetings. You can't send the eighth person. The league's not doing that.
I'd send Big T every time.
I don't think he's the other person, but nice thought. Yeah. And he appreciates the shout out. And the quote was, I like Tom, but sending him to Vegas would cost me $200 million, and I like $200 million more. That's a great quote because these things are about the money, and don't kid yourself. It's not about it's about the money. So I don't think it would be Vegas and Seattle. That the three places I've heard, and what I brought up with Kevin this morning was Kansas City, Nashville, Raleigh. I've heard some other places too, and I've heard San Diego mentioned, but San Diego doesn't have an arena ready. They'd have to build one, and there's nowhere for them to go quickly. And San Diego doesn't build anything quickly, and they don't build anything without lawsuits. See Petco Park. So my guess is Kansas City, that arena was built on spec if it's still up to NBA standards because it's now more than 10 years old.
Way
when
more.
they play the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
But if it's still up to standards, then they could slide right in there and it's go time. In Nashville, they could probably go into the arena where they're already playing hockey, but now you're getting the second best dates and you're going to be competing. By 2031, you could be competing with all 5 major team sports.
Yeah.
They've already got football, which is the beast. But on top of that, hockey's well established and soccer's well established and baseball's supposed to be coming and we'll have a honeymoon. So that's Nashville. Is Nashville big enough for every major league sport? I mean, it's a big market and it's a growing market, but I'd have to go through, and I could do it in the next break, I could go through and look. It would probably be the smallest market that had everything.
Yep. Oh, it definitely would, but it is growing. There's only one team that's moving to Nashville, and that's Memphis, because there's no way Memphis
that's another point.
That's not going to happen. And I don't think the Hornets would let Raleigh get a team either. They're not voting for that.
And so maybe he doesn't have anywhere to go, and maybe this is just a big bluff, and he's trying to bully them.
I mean, it would have to be, I guess, Kansas City.
Maybe there's somebody else out there. I mean, Louisville has the Yum Center, and Cincinnati doesn't have a team.
Right. But I mean, if you want to talk about Nashville, they should explore moving the Grizzlies to Nashville. I mean, those two cities are just, it would appear from an outsider, heading in different directions. And Nashville is much like Salt Lake. It's a market that's on the come, big time. And so, but I don't see any way that the Memphis Grizzlies let Nashville get an NBA team.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I get your logic, and I get the logic on Raleigh too, but
they could do like, and I've heard rumors about this before, but like southeastern Virginia, like the Norfolk, Suffolk, Tidewater area.
Are there enough corporate dollars there? Because that market is driven by military money.
It is, big time. Yeah, big time.
Which has been a problem in San Antonio and why they don't have football and Major League Baseball, and why Houston and Dallas get everything, and San Antonio has the Spurs.
But
that's it.
But that would be far enough away from Charlotte and D.C. that I don't think you'd be stepping on anybody's toes. But that's why the race to Vegas thing came into my mind, is because where are you going to go? Kansas City, maybe that's the answer. San Diego would be cool.
They don't have the arena built though. Kansas City can ride up the lease tomorrow. The building's there and go.
Yeah. All right. Drake Toll is coming up next. Locked On Big 12 host. He is David James, of course. Catch him every morning, 6 to 10, DJ and PK. And please download one of his 75 different podcasts. Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
No, you're good. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. No Ben today. No, not a medical emergency. Just vacation. To make that clear. So we hope that Ben is out there. We hope he's having a great vacay and spending some quality time with the family. Ben will be back on Tuesday. So, until then, you have to put up with me and occasionally David James. And soon, we're going to talk to Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 fame, as we'll talk to Drake about his takeaways from Big 12 Media Day. What are the big storylines for him going into this year's Big 12 season? So we look forward to talking to Drake coming up momentarily. We're going double lock today, Locked On Big 12, and the man himself, David Locke, who's going to be on the show coming at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, who usually you can hear on with David James on Fridays, but not tomorrow. We will be off tomorrow celebrating the 24th of July. Are you doing the, Christian, are you doing the parade again?
No, I was not asked to do the parade this year.
You weren't asked?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't high enough up on the celebrity chart this year?
Well, part of it was I kind of demanded that I do the Peach Days parade in Brigham City because KSL's doing Peach Days this year.
Okay.
I don't know the last time they did Peach Days, but when I found out that they are doing a float in Brigham City, I kind of demanded that I was doing that.
So you are doing a parade, but not
the one that we did together last year.
Not that one.
No. I think it's going to be Tim and Lloyd.
I didn't get asked either, unless it was in email form, and then I don't know. But no, that was fun walking in the parade last year. But yeah, I'm happy to let Lloyd and Tim take a whirl at it.
I bet Tim's going to eat it up. Tim's going to be like our guy last year that was taking pictures with everybody.
Who was that? Who was taking pictures with everybody?
The KSL, one of the news guys.
Oh, was it Rascone?
Yes, Dan.
Dude, he's a people person.
Yeah, he was very popular. That's going to be Tim tomorrow.
But, here's the difference between radio and TV. And I realize that we are now on YouTube and we now do the video streaming, so maybe it's a little bit different than it used to be. But everybody knows what Dan Rascone looks like, Christian. Nobody knows what Jake Scott and Christian Esparza looks like. So if Tim, being a radio guy, I don't know, if he ran up to people like Dan Rascone did, I think people would be like, who is this guy in my face? No offense to Coach Lacombe, who maybe Coach, as former BYU assistant, maybe he would be a little more recognizable. Anywho, we will be off tomorrow celebrating, and yes, some of the staff will be participating in the parade tomorrow. So we hope everybody, whether they're working or not. In fact, my wonderful wife has to work, Christian, so that means that I get a day with my daughters, which I'm pretty fired up about. All right, let's switch gears. We're going to talk some Big 12 football as the season is on the horizon. Joining us now, back on the show, of course, he's host of Locked On Big 12. He's Drake Toll with us here on Jake and Ben. Drake, thanks for a few minutes, dude. How are you?
Of course, I am spectacular. I'm getting ready for a game on ESPN tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time. The Party Animals and the Indianapolis Clowns on ESPN and Banana Ball. But, man, I can't pass up the opportunity to talk some Big 12. So excited to be with you.
Man, I'm digging the shirt. I get it. You have to be right in on the vibe, right, dude? I got to admit, I'm jealous. Because honestly, you get being a radio slob like myself, I get a kind of dress. I wish I had an excuse to really wear some loud stuff.
I get the pink. I've got some like bright green.
Yeah, dude.
This is actually a onesie. This is all just like one amorphous blob
amazing.
On my body right now.
Amazing.
So I did not wear this to Big 12 Media Days in the past. I have not built up the courage yet, but the time will come.
Oh man, I saw some media members that were dressed up and thought they were the show. You can't. No, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it professional. All right, well let's go to Big 12 Media Days. I'm curious for your takeaways. I would say start at what's most relevant for you. The Texas Tech clown reporter looking like a moron bringing up tortillas. I mean, you want to talk Utah BYU? What did you come away thinking?
Yeah, I thought that Brett Yormark missed the mark a bit in how he approached even like that moment, right? The reporter asks a pretty stupid question. No two ways around it. Some questions are stupid. Law of averages. Some things are just they're not going to land. Didn't land. Yormark walks across the stage, tells the guy, stand up, say it with your chest, give it to me. I think Yormark walked away, instead of looking like this commanding figure who's got a grip on the Big 12 in a positive way, it almost looked a bit too totalitarian. A couple people in the room mentioned the same thing. Like, it's not the look Brett wanted to go for. Similar to John Sumrall with this phone situation for the Florida head football coach, SEC Media Days. Phone goes off. Sumrall just took it a bridge too far. And where I think the Big 12 can grow and get better as a conference moving forward and needs to is from a PR standpoint. The SEC's nailed that. They are. It just means more, and we're 16 teams strong, and we're the best conference in college football. But also at the same time, they command this rhetoric of almost the underdog. The Big 12 can't find underdog, can't find big dog, can't find middleman. They're still struggling to find their spot in the college football sphere, and I think that was echoed at Big 12 Media Days. What is the identity of this conference? The biggest announcement the league gave you, and Brett Yormark always has one. He always has, Nelly is the halftime show, or LED basketball floor, or we're going to Mexico City. This year, the announcement was Monster. And because there was no proper context given, it gets torn apart immediately. The whole deal. There are questions from every piece, from every corner, media and fans of asking, how are we signing away our conference for $1.25 million per school? How does this work? How is this? And if proper context had been given about, the Big 12 being promoted on monster cans in 150 countries and the opportunity to make more money with this deal later on, then maybe we all wrap our head around it. We agree with it. We're on the same page. But it's just like the Big 12's a tick off from a PR standpoint right now. And in an era where we're doom scrolling all the time and social media matters more than ever, you've got to look good. And the Big 12's struggling with that, I think. And that was maybe my biggest takeaway, the 30,000-foot takeaway from Big 12 Media Days.
Let me ask you this. Do you include BYU in the same conversation as Texas Tech going into the season, or Utah for that matter?
You've got to include BYU in that, if not BYU ahead of Texas Tech. And a few people do have the Cougars above the Red Raiders. I don't currently. I still think Texas Tech commands the best roster. And to back that up, I watched what Texas Tech did to BYU twice last year. Now, the Cougs kept it close in the first half of both of those contests, but ultimately Texas Tech just overpowered BYU. Until I see different, until I watch BYU against Arizona, win a game by 21 points against a salty Arizona team with Noah Fafita, I don't have the confidence that BYU is better than Texas Tech. Are they squarely the second best team in the Big 12? Absolutely. Could they be the first best? For sure. But I still have Texas Tech in that one slot. And what I think we forget, we read the BYU record. I mean, this is a 12-win team a year ago. And man, that kid, you can't take that away. Everybody's like, one-score games, they'll regress. They won't. This team is really good in crunch time. But there is a piece of how BYU struggled against UCF, right? Or in the past against a Colorado, and had to come back and win these games. The Cougs have to dominate. They got to blow people out this year if they're going to prove to the College Football Playoff Committee they deserve to get in, no matter their record above double-digit wins. And then I include Houston in that kind of that top tier of the Big 12. BYU, Houston, Texas Tech. Those are my three. Then what's crazy is at 4, it could be Kansas State. It could be Utah. We could get to the end of the year and Utah is 11th in the Big 12. Kansas State's 14th in the Big 12. It starts to get super messy after the top 3 to me. I even think Arizona could see a regression going into the year. And the biggest piece as it pertains to the Utah Utes is the trenches. The amount they had to replace in the trenches. And, people are all, they lost 5 key players to Michigan. And I don't even look there. I look at the trenches, and I do think ultimately Kyle Whittingham leaving is not going to be something you see as a big tangible reason that Utah doesn't go 11-1 next year. Morgan Scalley's going to run a ship that they're familiar with and they're aware of, and Devin Dampier can carry the offense. But there's a world where Utah goes 7-5. Just as there's a world they go 10-2, there's also 7-5 on the table. And that's what leaves the door open for so many of these Big 12 teams kind of in that second tier. And that second tier is pretty big.
Had you met Morgan Scalley before? And if not, I'm curious to your first impression.
I haven't shaken his hand. And I'll say this of Scalley, what I've seen in kind of the circles that I've been around, and even the people that I've talked to inside his inner circle, they're all on the same page of Morgan Scalley is going to be easier to deal with than Kyle Whittingham in a lot of ways. And those who were around Kyle knew that he was very particular about the details. And sometimes that meant if you were media, if you were friend of media, if you it kind of depended on who you were and what room and where you were, what kind of Kyle Whittingham you got. And I think that's why a lot of BYU fans resent him or resent his time. Morgan Scalley seems to be just a little less, and I don't think anybody's shocked by this. Whit, he doesn't mind the spotlight. He doesn't mind the conversation. You saw that when he left to go to Michigan. He was drumming up donors, trying to get another year or two at Utah. What could he scrounge up? And that brought a lot of attention to Kyle Whittingham, which he was okay with. I think Scalley's going to walk in and, hey, football guy, I want to be the head coach. I want to run a program, and I appreciate that. I think Scalley opens this up with a humility that's going to help Utah in the next 3 to 5 years.
He's got more charisma than Whit did. No offense to Whit, but I think he might be able to interact with media and with folks a little bit easier. That'll be an advantage. What did you think from your perspective? From a little bit broader perspective, what did you think about that whole situation, Coach Whit, and how it ended at Utah?
Yeah, the way that things were hidden by even whether local media fans, people just wanted to deflect the situation as if Kevin Harlan and Kyle Whittingham, that there was no way Whit wanted back and it was a fluke he went to Michigan. I mean, and I've had a lot of conversations with people in the weeds of this that are all very clear that Kyle Whittingham wanted to come back to Utah. There was pushback on that in the first week of it was time. He was ready. But Whit had set his own timeline. I mean, he built the timeline for the university and then could not adhere to that timeline, was already given an added year, wins double-digit games. At the end of the season says, what if I come back again? But they were ready. The university, the administration, Mark Harlan, they were ready for what they had promised to Morgan Scalley. And Scalley was ready. And Scalley had waited a year. And the way the situation unfolded, I think Utah caught, and even I did on the front end, Utah caught some unwarranted flack because how do you handle it? You got the Hall of Famer, you got the statue guy who you thought was going to retire a year and a half ago saying, well, what if I come back? And you got the head coach in waiting that expects to be the head coach and that expects the head coaching job. Where do you go? And I don't think Mark Harlan ever could have known that saying no to Kyle Whittingham would lead to him going to Michigan, right? I mean, In every other scenario, Whittingham says, all right, I get it. And he goes off to Cancun, sits on the beach and drinks a pina colada, and Utah football is just fine. Nobody transfers. The coaching staff stays intact, and things look pretty similar to what they did in 2025. Instead, with him going to Michigan, that's where the bag got shaken up. And I don't think you can blame Mark Harlan for that because he had no clue that Whit was going to walk out the door and pick apart a lot of Utah by going to Michigan and bringing certain pieces, whether it's players or coaches, along with him.
Oh, man, it had repercussions all around here. I mean, from BYU to Utah down to Weber State. I mean, it affected everyone. I'm curious, with the last couple of years in the Big 12, obviously Arizona State came out of nowhere a couple of years ago to win the league. Houston, I don't know how many people picked them to win 10 games last year, and I think they surprised some folks. Who's the candidate for that this year, a team that has the potential to play its way to, something somebody didn't expect?
Yeah, for me, I love to follow coaches here. So this time last year, July, when we did our Big 12, Locked On Big 12 preseason poll, I think I had Houston at 5 or 6, somewhere that 8 or 9 win range. And that's where the comment started like, oh, it's stupid. Connor Wegmans, no, there's no way. And I had BYU squarely at 2, Texas Tech squarely at 1. And it was, hey, let's follow the money, follow the coaches. Like, let's do this kind of mixed bag of Willie Fritz wins. Texas Tech spent a lot of money. Like, don't overthink this thing. This year, Oklahoma State spent a lot of money, and Rich Rodriguez wins at West Virginia. That's where, if I'm looking at 2 schools that are going to surprise a lot of people, I think it's the West Virginia Mountaineers and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, for Oklahoma State, again, it's that money, the portal. Drew Mestemaker might end up being the best quarterback in the Big 12 come the end of the year. He led the nation in passing yards last season. He wants that Cam Ward arc. Cam was an incarnate Word guy who worked his way to Miami, and that's what made him the number 1 overall NFL draft pick. Mestemaker can work his way from North Texas to Oklahoma State and take over college football. I have no doubt about that. On the West Virginia front, they still have things to figure out offensively. I think their defense is going to be much saltier. And what Rich Rod has done that I really appreciate is what Houston did last season is he didn't overhaul in the portal. He brought in almost this. You win from attrition. There was positive attrition. You lose the guys you didn't need, the guys who didn't want to work, and you bring in portal pieces that can compete. BYU did that last year as well. They're not saying, hey, we're going to replace 15 starters out of the portal. No, we're going to bring in 15, 20 guys, transfers that can compete for starting jobs and make our returners better to build a program. I think West Virginia is going to do that. And then Oklahoma State trying to follow that Indiana model. They've got enough talent to surprise a ton of people and win 8, 9, maybe pie in the sky, 10 games this coming fall. And you'll learn a bit about them. Even if they lose, you'll learn quite a bit when they face Oregon in Stillwater early in the year.
This is a loaded question that probably can't be answered in a couple minutes, but what is the future of college football? We talked to both Utah and BYU's athletic directors, and they're talking about unsustainable this and unsustainable that. And then, of course, SEC Media Days, which you referred to before, they're threatening to break off. Tommy Tuberville is in the Senate saying this is all we want. I mean, what is the future?
Robots, I don't, like flag football. I guess there's it's a fair question though, because there's a lot of ways to take it. I think what you're getting, the rhetoric out of the SEC right now, is dangerous rhetoric, and I think that overall, I talk about this a lot on Westwood One Sports in the mornings, Drake Toll's show, is that the SEC's dangerous rhetoric is not something to be scared of, but something to monitor as the conference tries to sway the court of public opinion in its direction. So the SEC is not leaving the NCAA. No chance. No chance. There's no reason that a conference would want to overtake that. They would want to grab the headache that the NCAA deals with. What the NCAA does is they're in essence this guard, this dam between a conference, between an institution, between a player, and the law. The NCAA is supposed to enforce the law, and guess who gets sued more often than not and loses? The NCAA.
Right.
The SEC doesn't have the infrastructure to get sued like that. They don't have the money. They don't have the. I mean, there's no way that the Southeastern Conference can sustain itself from a legislative standpoint. I've crunched the numbers on this. It would take about 2 years for the SEC to completely leave the NCAA, and that is going to Washington D.C. and saying, "Hey, for combative measures for all these injunctions, we need you." And Washington, D.C. saying yes to the Southeastern Conference is such a large they would never attempt it. The future of college football is right where we are for the next 4 years. What's going to teeter that, we get to 2029, 2030, 2031, are the TV deals. Where does ESPN go? Where does Fox go? Does the Big 12 side with TNT? Does the ACC try to get in bed with CBS? Those are the questions we should be asking. The smoke and mirrors of the SEC leaving the NCAA is just the SEC trying to make you feel bad for the big bad wolf. Like, yo, you killed Red Riding Hood's grandma. Why should I feel bad for you? You're the one that did this. Like, you're the one wearing the costume, but you're you're in bed right now dressed as grandma. They want you to love them. They want you to buy into this underdog ragtag. Oh, poor us. The SEC has to deal with the NCAA. It's all a PR game. I think the future of college football is actually fairly stagnant for the next couple of years. We just get to complain a lot up until the TV deals are re-upped and we learn truly where a Clemson, a Florida State, and Miami might go in conference realignment 5 years from now.
We have David Locke coming on next hour. Any thoughts about working for David? If you could sum up David's leadership style in one word, what would it be?
Wow. One word? Man, I feel like I love Charles Barkley once said, I got 2 words. Steve Nash, Chris Paul, must-see TV. That'd be my version of one word for David Locke. Right. In the best way, man, intense is the word that I would use, and it's awesome. I think you've been around him, right? Uh-huh. You see it. It makes so. I live by a motto in work and in life that perfection's impossible, excellence is imperative, and that's the swagger David Locke carries into everything he does. Is that excellence is the goal, excellence is the key, and the Locked On Podcast Network has taken off because of that. So I work for, I mentioned it off the top, the Savannah Bananas, yep. Jesse Cole, the guy in the yellow tuxedo, visionary. When I first started working 3 years ago with him, when I first started working with David 5 years ago, you could look in their eyes and tell this is going to take off. anything this guy touches, anything this guy does, it's going to work because not only are they incredible, they put the right people around them. They surround themselves with the infrastructure to win. They'll always have a startup mentality. And so I liken David Locke a lot to what Jesse Cole is doing with the Savannah Bananas and that growth in marketing and sports and attention in this realm. And both of those guys, man, I consider it an honor. I walk into, whether it's Locked On the podcast network or the Savannah Bananas, the Party Animals, Banana Ball, I walk in out-thought, outclassed, outmatched, out-created every single day. Like it forces you to be better when you work for guys like that. David Locke deserves a lot of respect for what he's done building Locked On, which is now the _1 podcast network in the world.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell him or pass on any of that because his ego is already big enough. Hey, Drake, we appreciate you and all your great work, dude. Thanks for coming on with us.
Man, I know I wear a fur coat and a onesie and all that, but getting to talk the nitty-gritty of the real issues in college sports today is always a pleasure. And to join a brand like KSL that I've followed since well before I was in sports media, like back in high school, listening to the air, reading articles, KSL is a staple there. It's an honor to be asked on a show like this, and I'm excited to do it. I'll be in town 3 or 4 times this fall for both BYU and Utah. We'll catch up again.
Oh, great. Yeah. I mean, we'll have you back in studio, man. That would be awesome.
I'll wear this.
Yeah.
I'll wear a onesie.
All right.
I'll do it.
Thanks, Drake. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. That is the host of Locked On Big 12, Drake Toll, with us here on Jake and Benoit. More next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Now at McDonald's, get a $5 McChicken meal deal or a $6 McDouble meal deal. They come with small fries, a soft drink, and 4-piece McNuggets. We're going to need a bigger tray. Get more value with your meal deal with McValue.
Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for making us a part of your day. Man, Christian's going to have one heck of a weekend. I'm jealous, pal.
I'm taking them all fishing tomorrow.
Are you really? Everybody?
So that's how we'll get out of the house.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Christian's got a house full of people.
Full. Busting out the seams.
So, but where are you taking him fishing?
There's just a little manufactured pond up in Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice little park.
Out of the house.
Out of the house. That's the trick, yeah.
Of the house.
They literally drive, they don't drive a minivan, they drive like a full-size.
Like a van.
Sprinter van, yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
All right. And everybody's in town just hanging out?
Everybody.
Making it happen? All right. Let's reset the Shams thing, Christian, if we can get that sound up as the low weight luck continues. For LeBron James and where exactly he is going to land. Let's refresh the latest. This is Shams Charania on ESPN today.
There's nothing left. The teams are the teams. The information's the information. LeBron has everything he needs to make a decision. The conversations have happened. They're not, from my understanding, my sources tell me that LeBron James, his agent Rich Paul, that inner circle, they're not waiting for another domino right now. They're not waiting for Anthony Davis to get traded anywhere. They're not waiting for anyone else to move around anywhere. The teams, Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Philadelphia, Minnesota, they're set. Those are the teams. Wherever he ends up, I mean, you're looking at minimum deals, you're looking at exceptions. The contracts are not going to be this grand part of this deal. LeBron James was very clear from the very beginning. This is going to be based on happiness in terms of chance to contend for a championship, a chance to compete at a high level, join a culture. That doesn't come from going to a team and then gutting that team from multiple different players. Now, listen, if during the first week of July, LeBron James and Rich Paul told, the Heat or the Cavs or the Warriors, hey, we need you to do this and we're coming, those teams might have done that. But that message was not delivered. And so you just kind of have to read between the lines if you're some of these teams and you need to figure it out. But it's at a point now, July 23rd, it's really up to LeBron James. The entire NBA is waiting on LeBron James' decision.
Everybody's waiting. We're waiting on the schedule. But the one piece of news there is that, I think anyway, is that Shams is saying that LeBron's not waiting on, I had the theory about James Harden, and is he not signed yet, freeing up some room for a sign-in trade that could perhaps move some players around. I saw an internet rumor yesterday, and it obviously was nothing more than that, about possibly a sign-in trade that could involve the Jazz and Jarrett Allen. But Shams Charania says, no, he's going to sign a vet minimum deal or fit into an exception or whatever. He's not waiting for pieces to be moved around. A lot of people wondered about Anthony Davis because who was the guest we had on a couple of weeks ago from Washington, or maybe it was last week?
John Allville.
Who said Anthony Davis hasn't really said anything about whether he wants to be there or any of that. He mentioned that the Wizards aren't in a hurry to trade Anthony Davis, but that he hasn't exactly given his ringing endorsement yet either. And Anthony Davis is, of course, a clutch guy. So,
Man, DJ ate that up.
Oh, DJ loved it. Loved the Adele.
Hello.
He loved the like that. It's because DJ's old school.
Like that?
He knows a good drop when he hears one. So, all those are really intriguing, but what Shams is saying right there is that's not the case. They're not. There's not any of that. He's going to just sign into space for any of those 5 teams that were mentioned. I don't know how much of this I actually believe. He does have everything he needs to make up his mind. So what are we doing? What are we doing?
What is the holdup? We don't know. We don't. It's Shams mentioned free agency started 20 days ago. Like 20 days ago, and we are still waiting on this.
Because he likes the attention?
Right.
So where does he end up? David James thought Miami, thought the YouTube thing was no accident. Where are you sitting on that question right now? Where will LeBron go?
I still think it's Cleveland for Le Homecoming, Le Part 3. But I do think it's interesting that Shams brought up Minnesota because that was a team that hadn't really been talked about a lot. It had kind of been narrowed down to Miami, Cleveland, maybe Philly, and then the Warriors were, a couple weeks ago. Minnesota seems kind of out of nowhere. I don't think it is a coincidence that Shams brings them up.
I don't think there's a chance he's going to Minnesota.
Too cold.
Yeah, no connection. What does LeBron put Minnesota over the top? Does he really want to go play with LaMelo Ball?
Right.
And I do think LeBron probably wants to be a focus of the team in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if you can do that with Anthony Edwards. I don't know.
But Shams brings it up.
He does bring it up.
And
but
that is enough to pique my interest.
But Shams is also getting the word out that there's a ton of demand for LeBron James. There's also where's Shams getting that, information? And it's to better LeBron James to have the word is that he could have 5 destinations instead of just 1 or 2. So I don't know. I don't think he ends up in Minnesota. I would bet against that. I still think it's Cleveland.
Okay. You haven't fully flipped to Miami, but you're more convinced than you were yesterday that Miami's in the running.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you were making so we're going to find out just how self-involved LeBron is with this decision. Because it's about happiness, right?
What are his ultimate goals?
What are his priorities? I think if it's coming down to Miami and Cleveland, just take the championship thing off the table because LeBron on either of those teams probably have about an equal chance at winning a championship, right? Miami with LeBron and Cleveland with LeBron.
They're both flawed, right?
Both flawed, but the chances are probably pretty similar. I wouldn't pick either team, but the contention level is probably the same. So the fit is not, I wouldn't say it's great at either one from a gameplay standpoint. I mean, they'd have to figure it out. But what Cleveland has going for it is that's the fairy tale. That's the storybook narrative. LeBron goes home for the final chapter. You know, if it's about the movie, and he's quite literally going to make a movie.
Le documentary.
If it's about the movie, the attention, the story, the legacy, all of that, he goes to Cleveland. If it's about actually being happy, he's going to Miami.
Spending his last year as an NBA player.
Maybe two.
In the city with the best nightlife.
Weather,
out of all the
lifestyle,
NBA cities.
all of that. Absolutely. And there's not really another player on the Heat that plays his position. There are several players on the Cavs that play his position that they would have to figure out. But if it's about happiness, I mean, think about this. And here's LeBron never seems like a person. But if you are a person and you're making a decision on where you've built your life, you know, I talk about Trajan all the time, Trajan, Trajan wealth. You spend your whole life working up to your latter years where you've earned the, I don't know, resources, luxury, whatever it is, to pick where you're going to be happy in your second or third chapter or whatever, you know, however you want to look at that. And what are you going to do? If you're LeBron, a person, and you're picking, I'm going to spend the next a year, 2 years, part-time living somewhere, where am I going to pick? Miami or Cleveland? Honestly, or Miami or Minnesota or Miami or Salt Lake City or whatever. And LA is not an option. You're picking Miami, right? I think we'll learn what actually is ultimately that important to LeBron. If he ends up in Cleveland, it's all about the manufactured story. It's all about the how it's going to look on a TV show. But if he actually is prioritizing happiness, he should go to Miami. On the floor, though, I think Miami's probably a better fit, but I don't think either team is winning an NBA championship with LeBron James.
I feel like it could get clunky either way. I mean, him next to Giannis and Bam feels weird, and him next to Jared Allen and Evan Mobley feels weird. And then you throw in Donovan Mitchell, who's going to have his allotment of dribbles.
Yeah, and Donovan just signed a huge deal. So what, are you going to take the ball out of Donovan Mitchell's hand? No, with Miami, at least he can have the ball. At least he can dribble. I mean, that's, you know, Giannis isn't necessarily that. Bam certainly isn't that. So LeBron has a lane with Miami. They're just flawed because they can't shoot. Cleveland, they'd be flawed because they're awkward fit together. LeBron James, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden. Super clunky. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to have LeBron James not have the ball and run his guy over? I mean, that's the whole reason you have LeBron James. You think Donovan's going to go stand in the corner? I don't think that's going to happen. If James Harden's not dribbling out there, what is James Harden good at? Nothing.
Putting on weight.
And none of those three, putting on weight, good, I like that. None of those three has any interest whatsoever in playing any sort of defense. I will give LeBron credit for being a good defensive player in his day. That was, 6-7 years ago that he decided I'm too old for playing defense. So I don't know. I think the less clunky fit is Miami. I don't think he's going to Philadelphia. I would say there's no way he's going to Philly because he doesn't want to be in the same locker room as Jaylen Brown. No offense to Jaylen Brown, but Jaylen's wanting to be the guy. I don't think LeBron is going to go share anything with somebody who's out there to prove that he's the dude.
He's going to have to share with somebody. I mean, Miami just traded for Giannis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland just paid Donovan, like you bring up. If he goes to the Warriors, that is Steph's team, and that will always be Steph's team. If he goes to Minnesota, that's Anthony Edwards' team. So he's going to be second fiddle at best. But then again, in Philly, where does Joel Embiid land? Or Tyrese Maxey or VJ Edgecombe, right? So I think Philly is the most crowded.
His personality would still dominate in Cleveland. I mean, I'm sure they love Donovan, but that's going to be LeBron's team every second he's on the Cavs, for better or for worse. Miami, you may have a point. Giannis might not want to share, He might not want to share the attention.
Right.
especially a player that's attention is going to outweigh their value on the floor, which I do believe that about LeBron James. Part of that's not his fault because he's just such a figure.
Part of it is his fault because of this whole
this whole garbage. Oh, it's totally true.
When do you think? What was the date on the YouTube video? July 27th, right?
Is that what it said?
So that would be, I think, Monday. Do you think LeDecision is coming on Monday?
I don't know. That could have thrown off the timeline. Never know. I do know, we talked about this, I do know players are super obsessed with controlling their announcements and their messages and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's Tom Brady coming back, ruining his marriage just despite Adam Schefter, right? Adam Schefter leaked that Tom Brady was retiring. Tom Brady decides to play one more year, and that is part of the reason why Giselle left him.
That and the
pool guy.
And the
jiu-jitsu guy.
The jiu-jitsu guy. I think that
part of the reason, yeah. One of a couple of reasons.
One of a couple of reasons, yeah. All right. We'll have more coming up next. David Locke will join us at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What you think of my new saddle, Lizard?
Oh, yeah, it's swell, mate. Proper comfy.
Just one of the upgrades I've added to this puppy.
What else have you got on here?
New air intake filter, quick shifter, and a beefy muffler.
Well, that's why you ride with Geico motorcycle insurance, so you can cover your custom parts and equipment. Now let's hear that muffler purr.
All right, hang on tight to my love handles.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is Thursday. That means it's time for the big announcement of the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. This week, congratulations to Katrina Larson of Orem High School. Here's what was written about Katrina in her nomination. Katrina Larson has been our school community council chair for 3 years and has been absolutely fantastic. The time and energy she puts into improving Orem High School and working with the community to find effective ways to utilize our funding. She cares about students and she cares about our faculty and staff. She takes time to visit with teachers and ask them what they need to improve deeper learning. She always looks at our data to help find areas of improvement, and she is always willing to do the work to improve learning and our school. Congratulations to Katrina Larson. Remember, if there's a youth volunteer, it can be sports or not, that go to kslsports.com/contest and nominate them. And then, of course, listen to to the Jake and Ben show every Thursday afternoon when we announce the winner. So shout out to Katrina Larson. Christian, have you started thinking about youth sports? You have a newborn, but I could see you being a sports dad.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. Yeah, I am stoked to do all
now,
of it.
Are you going to push him into a particular sport?
Not necessarily. I kind of told my wife I want him to kind of do the try everything approach if he wants, right? But, when I was little, I remember playing T-ball. I remember playing AYSO soccer, junior jazz, all that stuff. I never played baseball or soccer or basketball beyond that, but that's such a fun age, I think, 3, 4, 5 for those sports.
I am making my kids do 2 sports. And then if they want to do something else, they can. But I'm making them ski, and I'm making them play golf. Because, one, skiing, we live in Salt Lake, and skiing is more accessible here, despite the price, than it is anywhere else on the planet. So I feel like they should take advantage of that, just being Utahns. And specifically here living in the Salt Lake Valley. And then golf, because there's 4 of us in our family. We can do it as a family. That's an activity that we can all do together.
That is nice.
So they have to do that. Outside of that, they can do whatever. My daughter Sadie's doing soccer. And I don't know if my other daughter Maggie, I don't know if she's into the team sport thing. She does like dance, though. And she did like gymnastics. So we'll see how that goes.
Did she do the tumbling?
Yeah, they don't. So she was 4. They don't quite get into tumbling per se that young. Does that make any sense? I mean, they're doing somersaults and stuff, but they're not doing handsprings.
Okay.
All right. I could see you fighting another parent on the sidelines at a sporting event.
Which sport?
Does it matter?
Okay.
Does it? Yeah, at the side of the tennis court. You know, you're on the other side of the chain link fence, fist fighting the other dad while
I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, soccer's played in the springtime, right? Baseball's kind of more summer. So if I were to get in a fight, I think springtime would probably be better.
Okay.
You don't want to be hot and sweaty while you're also fighting.
All right. Baseball and soccer pretty much go at the same time.
Do they? Okay. Well.
So, I don't know.
Okay, I'll pick one.
I think you could accomplish it at either one, to be honest with you. But you will discover that the world is full of great volunteers in youth sports and great people out there doing great work for young people. And I am a firm believer in the value of sports for young people in their development. I know it was for me, but you will encounter some great coaches and great people out there, Christian, as your newborn gets older. We love Sadie's soccer coach. She's so great. And so great with kids, and they learn so much, has a great temperament and all that stuff. Honestly, all the horror stories about parents fighting coaches, I haven't seen too much of that yet. But then again, my daughter's 9, so
you see a little bit.
Give it some time. I see people.
I've seen a couple.
I see people take it pretty seriously, but I haven't seen any like major event yet. You know.
Okay.
I haven't seen that fight in the stands yet, or the coach have to scream at a parent to shut up. I haven't seen any of that. I hope to be that parent one day.
Buckle up.
Yeah. But there are a lot of great people out there. We do, I tell this to people all the time, you know, here in this community, we do kids stuff well, including kids sports. Our community does, experiences, and I crow about our museums and aquariums. And I mean, we do young people stuff very well.
Yeah, I live right next to a park, and every Saturday morning I'm driving in to come in for the Saturday show, and that park is always full, whether it's kids' soccer games or whatever. Every Saturday.
Now, do the parents in their cars run amok in your neighborhood, though? I know people who live right by parks, and they just hate, like, football parents.
Okay. No, I have not experienced that.
I was surprised. We are friends with a family that live right by an entrance into a park where they play a lot of youth sports and play a lot of youth football. You know, those kind of walkway entrances, not like a main entrance, but there's houses on either side and there's a walkway, in between to get into the park. I was shocked when this dad told me that there's anywhere from like 2 to a dozen football parents that smoke that come into that walkway to smoke cigarettes during the games or whatever. I was just surprised. Not that parents would find a kind of more private place to smoke per se, but that there were so many parents that are still smoking.
Yeah, it's like a secret club.
I guess I was just a little surprised.
How do you think they find each other? You know, they're like,
oh, they always, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Probably.
They can just tell.
Yes, it's a thing.
Or one person had an idea, and then another person had the idea, and they're like, "Oh!"
And now they're a community or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I bet happened.
I don't know. I was just surprised to hear that it just doesn't feel like there are that many smokers around anymore.
I don't know.
But football parents. But no, they're not running amok in your neighborhood with all the cars and the parking and all that stuff.
I live on a weird, busy road, but I don't know. There's always people running amok, I guess.
You're on a busy road?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You better watch it. You got a lot of kids.
I know.
A lot of kids at the house now.
I'm not letting them in the front yard.
So you have 12 people currently staying at your house?
My brother-in-law and his wife, and their 6 kids. The oldest one is 9.
Uh-huh.
So they have 6 kids between 3 months and 9 years old.
Uh-huh.
And then my mother-in-law and her mom, my wife's grandma.
A total of 12
people in a 1,200 square foot home right now.
It's pretty cramped.
Pretty cramped. Luckily, I'm not there. one less body to worry about.
Yeah, you gonna work late tonight, Christian?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's 9 p.m., but Lloyd has got me, editing these. All right, I'll call you back. Stay tuned. David Locke joins the show coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Ben taking a much-deserved vacation. He will be back next Tuesday. So all you Ben Anderson fans, never fear. Ben will be back shortly. But joining us now, our next guest, of course, the radio voice of the Utah Jazz and the subject of a recent Gordon Monson feature column, which I thought was very well done. Our good friend David Locke. Hi, David.
Oh, Jake Scott. How's the world for Jake Scott these days?
Oh, man. Well, it couldn't be better. Kids, summer, lots going on. I did enjoy that column Gordon wrote. Gordon's great. I love Gordon to death, and he's a great writer. But he does features particularly well, and I thought that was good.
It was very nice of him to be interested in the story of Locked On and our 10-year anniversary. So it was nice of him to get it out there and write it. I appreciate it, and thank you.
Speaking of that, we had Drake Toll on earlier in the show, and I asked him what it was.
How did you do? He's incredible because he's hosting a game tonight.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
The animals.
He was all dressed out like it too. He had a loud onesie on. It was hilarious. But I asked him what it was like to work for David Locke, and he said nothing but glowing things. And I was hoping he'd really, say, "Oh man, he's just the worst."
No, we just offered him a big job and he turned it down. So
wow.
That's why he said nice things about me.
Well, he's really good, and he was
great.
really good with us. Again, Locked On Big 12. Make sure and check it out. But let's start talking Jazz now. David, I've got to admit, I have not caught your podcast this week, but judging by your tweets today, what are people bent out of shape about? What have you stirred up?
Well, I don't know. I did feel like some people are bent out of shape. I thought they were really off kilter where they were bent out of shape. But so what I did this week is a series, if I could arrogantly say, I thought it was quite good. And the idea was these are the things the teams that win in the NBA do. So each day there's been an item that if you look at the data from last year, this is what teams did to win. So Monday was the teams who won last year did not allow you to shoot at the rim, and particularly did not allow you to make shots at the rim. The best teams in the league were all elite rim defensive teams. Oklahoma City, Detroit, San Antonio with Victor. Okay, so the question was like, okay, how did the Jazz do that? Day two was that the possession battle is kind of the biggest thing in the NBA. Shot distribution has quieted to the difference between one team to another a little bit. Now the big difference is really is stealing possession. So you win the turnover battle and you win the rebounding battle. And how do you do that? And if you look, the best teams in the league did it. And I don't think there were any teams that were on the negative side of the turnover on the possession battle that did very well last year. So how do we do that? The third one was that every team that made the playoffs last year was above average in shooting. So are we above average in shooting? And then today was really an interesting one that the top 13 teams in the league last year were all top five in one of the four factors. So the four factors are shooting, rebounding, turnovers, and free throw rate, both offensively and defensively. So 8 categories, 4 in each. And all of the teams in the NBA last year, the top 13 teams that made, all were in the top 13 records, all were in the top 5 in something. And all the top 17 teams, so any team that had a winning record last year, was in the top 6 in one of those 8 categories. So, like, if we think the Jazz are going to win over half their games, they literally have to be a top 5 team, either in shooting, offensive rebounding, not turning the ball over, going to the free throw line, defending the shot, defensive rebounding, forcing turnovers, or not fouling people. Which one is it? And, like, which do we have a possibility of being elite at? And so that was the series of the show of the week. And, I think some of those answers were not easily definable. Therefore, some people determined that my shows were negative. That was not the point. The point is we actually get to talk basketball again. We actually can really analyze and discuss whether we're good enough. And you know what? The other one I would just say, Like, FanDuel and Kalshi have both come out with their bets for the year. We're 10th in the West in both of them. Well, okay, like, maybe they're wrong. Like, I saw Gordon wrote a nice piece to, like, bet the over. Maybe they're wrong, but those guys aren't wrong that often. So, like, what are the things we're going to have to do to not win 39 games and be 10th in the Western Conference next year? So I think I laid out the 4 things we have to do, or 4 of the things we have to do.
So I really have problems with looking at lines as predictions because they're not. And here's where I think that people out there are missing is because the public has no idea how good or bad the Jazz actually are. Because the public didn't do what you and I did for the last 4 years and watch how hard they had to actively try to be that bad. So the public has no idea how good or bad the Jazz are going to be. So I have a tough time looking at that as a prediction. And I'm not a gambling man, but I certainly would agree with Gordon and would go with the over there. But after your exercise examining those things, David, tell me where the ceiling is then.
Well, I mean, it's going to depend on, can we figure out a way to deny shots at the rim and find a way to keep Jaren Jackson close to the rim, because Nurk's not really a great rim defender if he's your starting center. Mm-hmm. Or if Jaren Jackson's your starting center, then you're not actually that big anymore. So, like, you really defensively, we've got to get way better than we have been, right? And I understand we have not been trying, so therefore we're bad defensively. But, like, how are we doing this? Like, and Nurk is actually not horrific defensively. He's not particularly mobile, but his pick and roll numbers are kind of okay defensively. He's just not very good at defending shots at the rim. Jackson Hayes is all over the map. It's not clear at all. Some years he impacts it, some years he doesn't. And so, like, that's the first question. Like, if we're going to be better than what people think, we're going to have to find a way to be defensively good at the rim. Last year, Will Hardy's system was really good. It denied people getting to the rim. The only problem is when they got to the rim, they scored every time. We had the worst shooting percent. I think we had the 29th in the league in field goal percentage defense at the rim. So, that's the first one we have to address. Is like, how do we get better defense? The other one that's going to be really interesting to me, and this is probably contrary to what most people think, but when I ran the data, this was my big surprise of the week. We're not that good a shooting team. And I was pretty surprised by that. So, like, Lowry's okay. The last 2 years he's actually just been average, but I think he's probably better than that. Deontay was really terrific last year, but in his career he's still, like, if last year just eliminates the first 2 years, then fine. But Jaren's kind of below average. Jaren is incredibly variable, has been good some years and really not very good other years. Really huge range of efficiency. Nurk is the least efficient offensive center in the NBA. That's a better way to phrase it. The least efficient. Well, he's not the worst offensive center in the NBA. He's the least efficient offensive center in the NBA. He shoots like 49%. Centers should shoot 65%. It's really a detriment to your offense. Ace Bailey was not a good shooter last year. Right? Josh Okogie or Cody Williams, who's over our defense, is not a good shooter. So I was really surprised. We really just don't have that knockdown shooter. We'll see whether Bryce or Speed can become that guy. And so I was just a little surprised when I broke it down, like, oh, we're really going to collectively, and maybe Will Hardy's system will allow this to happen, but we're really going to collectively have to create joint opportunities that get good looks for guys that allow everyone to kind of shoot a little bit above average that makes us a well above average shooting team.
Who, with that in mind then, who will be the starting backcourt, do you think, night one?
I mean, there's one of – I think the starting backcourt is Darren Peterson and Keontae George. I think that's pretty clear. The question is, who's the starting three? Is it Ace Bailey or Lowry Markkanen? And then who's the starting center? Is it Yusuf Nurkic or Jaren Jackson? Right, so I think there's one of two starting lineups. It's Keontae George, Darren Peterson, Ace Bailey, Lowry Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, which I think is our closing lineup of games. Or it's Nurk as the center, and Ace Bailey's coming off the bench. I guess my preference, if I had one, would be to try the Ace Bailey Lowry, Market, and Jaren Jackson and see if they can rebound. And if they can't rebound, then you got to start Nurk.
Well, yeah, because that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Jaren's below average rebounder. Lowry's below average rebounder. Ace is a below average rebounder, I think. We don't know about Darren, and Keontae's a below average rebounder. So that could be a rebounding disaster, and then you're losing that possession battle we talked about.
Yeah, I think the problem, just piggybacking on what exactly you're talking about, is Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a center. Or if you want to call a center or a big, he's not. I put it this way when the Jazz traded for him, and people were saying, "What does this mean for Walker?" Jaren Jackson is way closer to Andre Karolinko than he is Greg Ostertag, right? He's a shot blocker, but he's an off-the-ball shot blocker, and he's much more versatile than he is a big. And if he's a big, the bigs are going to push him around, you know? I mean, it's tough to guard Nikola Jokic on the ball because he's so big and he's so heavy. That's not really Jaren's game. So I don't know how effective the lineup would be with him as a center.
Right, and so now, we start running through it like he's got to guard Donovan Clingan when we played Portland.
Right.
And he's guarding Watt. You know, that gets to be hard, right? You wear a guy out, and he's not played a lot of games in his career. He's often been injured, and he's often had a problem with foul trouble, so you're probably trying to avoid that a little bit.
Yeah. And that was the
Nurk,
yeah.
You know, what's interesting is, I'm not, like, everyone loves Nurk. I love Nurk, too. Nurk does not come out particularly well in my analytics because of what we just talked about. Like, he doesn't dunk, which most centers dunk, and that's a really highly efficient shot, by the way, and still very important in the league. Like, dunks really matter. And he shoots a very, very low percentage around the rim. Like, he's one of the least good finishers in the NBA, always has been. And so he doesn't come out great on my metrics for those two reasons. And so it's hard for me on Nurk because, like, yeah, he was great last year, but, you know, it also didn't matter. But I do think you might have to start him because he's such a great rebounder. And the rest of the team is not a very good rebounder. And that skill may be wildly important, that he has to really play a lot of minutes for this team for us to be good because we've got to rebound.
Well, to your point, I don't think that Nurk is a starting center in the NBA anymore. I don't think that the Jazz think that. But the bargain with L.A., or the game of chicken, if you will, was which team is going to go into the season without a center. And the Jazz said, we have the tolerance to do that, and picked up 2 first-round picks and 2 swaps for their trouble. So, I mean, I don't think Nurk's ideal, no, to your point, but that may be what they have.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if the Jazz wanted to make this bet, but they have now. I'm not sure I can come up with a circumstance where 2 teams have bet further on the poker table on a player than the Lakers and Jazz just did on Walker Kessler. So the Lakers are really betting that Walker emerges into like one of the 5 best centers in the NBA. And indirectly, and I don't think the Jazz wanted to make this bet, but they are now, they're really guessing that Walker stays at like 17th, 18th, and 19th best center in the NBA. And that then the money's an overpay and they get draft picks for him. It's pretty interesting. I'm not sure there's ever been a circumstance with a developing player where an offer sheet's been signed. I mean, that's how I've been searching it, as restricted free agent signings. This young, unestablished, where 2 teams have bet as divergently as the Jazz and the Lakers have on Walker Kessler. Now, the chances are he'll end up being the 11th best center in the NBA, and it'll be right in the middle.
I'm trying to think. That's a good question. Maybe Golden State and the Wizards with Gilbert Arenas way back in the day.
Maybe. When he was a second-round pick, and they grabbed him because the league rules. But the league rules prohibited Gilbert Arenas from being paid by his original drafted team, and that's why he could go to Washington.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Warriors could have paid Gilbert Arenas. I think that was their problem, is that they didn't have any bird rights on him, so they couldn't pay him. So that changes. It's a great call, but I think it changes the dynamic. This is a little bit of like, we could have paid Walker, assuming that, he would take it and stay, and not just do something crazy like just take the qualifying offer and then want to get out as an unrestricted free agent. It's a really interesting again, I'm not sure that the Jazz went to the poker table wanting that as their bet, like roulette 27, right? Red 27, but that's what they got now, and it's a really just interesting circumstance to watch.
My question is, what do you think it will work with Walker in LA? And I'll tell you why I maybe have a doubt, because you know pick and roll numbers and all that sort of thing, and how it works. Better than I would say better than most, certainly. But Walker has never been a pick and roll lob kind of player. Not with the Jazz. He hasn't really done that, and that's what Luka wants. That's why they promised Luka a center. Does he have? I don't know. Can he be a pick and roll big good enough to be what Luka wants?
Great question. He was better his last year. His pick setting used to be on his tippy toes and he'd get bounced around, and he wasn't set. And he got a little bit better at doing this in the last year, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think Luka might be so great. Daniel Gafford was never a good rolling center until he suddenly played with Luka.
Right.
Right? And I would actually have to go back. It'd be interesting to go back on their NBA Finals team. What was it? Him and Lively?
Yes.
It was Lively that was there,
Mm-hmm.
so he's been hurt. It'd be interesting to go back and look at other. I'm trying to think of who else Lucas played with in Dallas before those two. It was pretty sparse. That's why they always wanted Rudy Gobert.
Ed Kristaps wasn't that when he was there.
Right. Yeah, that didn't work. So, we don't have a comp of what happens after Luka leaves, but it's really interesting because Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic are two of the three best pick and roll guards in the NBA, data-wise. So if they're suddenly not, that's going to be a real indictment on Walker. Keontae's numbers obviously way better last year with Nurk than they were with Walker prior. Is that because Keontae got better? Is that because Nurk's a better pick setter? I don't know the answer to that. That's a great question.
Well, we are playing low-weighting game for LeBron, David. Do you want to weigh in on where you think he ends up?
I'm just upset because I want the schedule, and the schedule's not going to come out if LeBron keeps doing this.
Totally agree.
It does feel like if he's trying to get a move done, he's trying to go to Cleveland, right? Can I share an interesting conversation with you?
Yes, please do.
This is fascinating. This is where NBA coaches are awesome. So I was talking with an NBA coach today, and we were talking about Evan Mobley and Chet Holmgren. And he was kind of asking, well, why does everyone love them so much? And his theory was that everyone loves them because, Rudy Gobert is this, incredible defensive center. The minute you put him on the roster, you're top 5 defense, but he doesn't have any offensive skills. And Cat, everyone loves Cat. The minute you put Cat on your team, you're top 5 offense, but he has no defense. And everybody fell in love with Evan Mobley and Chet Holmgren because they were a little bit of each of them. But his point is they're not any of either of them, which is really kind of interesting. Mobley's pretty good defensively, and he's been talked about as Defensive Player of the Year and been really high accolades. But I wonder if he really does. Cleveland's not elite defensively, and he's playing next to a center, and his offensive game is blah, and it's he's not Cat, right? And he's not Rudy Gobert. And Chet Holmgren's really interesting, but I don't think he's averaged more than 15 points a game yet. And he's really good defensively. He's really long, and he impacts things. Oklahoma City's defense is great, so maybe it's because of Chet, but maybe not. It's maybe because of their whole package, but I'd give Chet a lot of credit. And he's probably closer to Rudy than a lot of guys, but his offense is kind of it's kind of an interesting – we're in love with these two guys because they're a little bit of each, but they're not one of either. And then we go back to the conversation that we just had that you have to be elite at something to be good in this league. There might be something these kind of one-way players like Cat and Rudy have gotten really criticized. But gosh, when you're the best in the world at your position at what you do, maybe that's better than being the 5th best defensive player and the 13th best offensive player.
Oh, I think there's some logic to that. We fall in love with complete guys, and there just aren't that many of them, right? There's how many. You can pick any position, right? How many Joel Embiids, when healthy, are there, or how many Jason Tatums are there? These kind of more complete guys, to your point, and then you misidentify ones that aren't. I'm totally off Chet. I think all of a sudden he's one of the more overpaid players in the league. I thought he was a detriment to them in that series against San Antonio because he doesn't play tough. Answer me this: what position does Chet play?
Right, fair. They clearly think he's a 4 with Isaiah Hartenstein as the 5. The same thing Evan Mobley's a 4 with Jared Allen as the 5.
Right. So
pretty interesting. I mean, Chet obviously had a terrible playoff and really wilted against Victor. So we'll see. And I think let's give him some development. I thought he's always played really hard, but he is a string bean, and he is like there's a chance that he's just like he's not elite. Like Evan Mobley, we keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. It's really good, but okay, let's see.
Yeah, he's not there. Not even close.
Right.
Yeah. David, we really appreciate you jumping on. Ben's missing out, so thank you for coming on with us. And you know what? I'll catch up on my Locked On Jazz podcast. I'll find out what all the fuss was about.
Well, you can text me and let me know whether you think those were negative podcasts or addressing real-life issues of how freaking hard it is to win in the NBA.
All right, I've got a project over the long weekend. No problem.
Okay, see you, my friend.
All right, see you, David. Thank you very much.
Bye.
There you go. That's the one and only David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. Nice enough to jump on with us and break it down a little bit. Interesting points talking about Mobley and Chet Holmgren. I can certainly see what he's getting at. And yeah, not everybody in the NBA can be the world's most complete player. So where is the value? And if you are kind of a do-it-all type guy, you still have to be good at it. You can't just do everything kind of mediocre.
Right. And that's the give and take.
I suppose. But yeah, I'm off Chester for sure. Chet, soft, string beanie, overpaid. Although I'll give Oklahoma City a lot of credit for kind of massaging things where the only person that they lost really is Lou Dort. And I like Lou Dort, but if, the salary situation they were looking at to only come out minus Lou Dort, that's pretty good moves.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to David Locke. Thanks to him for jumping on with us and checked out his Locked On Jazz episodes. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
On this show, as entrepreneurs, we often talk about the courage it takes to start something from scratch. Every successful brand begins with a vision, a purpose, and someone willing to take a chance on an idea. And while every founder's journey is different, many share the same determination to overcome obstacles, innovate, and build something meaningful from the ground up. That's why I always enjoy hearing founder stories, because behind every product is a real person who has invested time, energy, and passion into building something meaningful. Walmart is helping customers discover products from thousands of small brands while giving founders opportunities to grow, reach new communities, and share the stories behind their businesses. By making it easier to discover these brands, Walmart helps connect customers with innovative products and the entrepreneurs whose passion, resilience, and creativity help bring them to market. So whether you're an entrepreneur yourself or a dream driver looking to be inspired, it's exciting to see more opportunities for small brands to be discovered. Visit Walmart.com to learn more about the small brands and founder stories available in your community.
A colossal monster, a city in ruins, no way out, except inside of the all-electric Toyota CHR. John Cho stars in Escape. Test drive Toyota's new all-electric family today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. No Ben today. He is on vacation. He will be back coming up next week, so we hope he's off having a good time. Off on the Great American Road Trip. Pack the family into the family truckster and head out and hit the road. Do you know what that reference is to family truckster, Christian?
What do you think?
I'm guessing no.
No.
But it would be.
What is it? Enlighten me.
It's from the Vacation movies. You ever seen Vacation?
Okay.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
I've seen Christmas Vacation. I've seen Vegas Vacation.
The family that's from the OG Vacation, which is worth
Is Chevy
a see.
Chevy Chase in that one?
He and Beverly D'Angelo are in all of them, and then
Okay.
the kids always change, which is kind of funny. You've seen Christmas Vacation and
Vegas.
Which one do you like better?
I mean, Christmas is a classic.
It's the best vacation, but
Yeah.
Vegas is underrated.
It's funny.
You should see the original. The original is great. I love it that coming into the segment, Christian's like, "Is anything going on page 6?" No, it's a slow day on page 6. Although, does this do anything for you, Christian? Phil Mickelson's wife, Amy, was spotted out in public without her wedding ring.
Now that's juicy.
Yeah. She's, let's see, she went on a grocery store run and was photographed, and there is not a wedding ring on the finger. Do you read into that? Are you the type of person that thinks, okay, they're done? Because remember, Phil's been in the news. Well, it seems like he's been in the news for the wrong reasons for a while now, but most recently about maybe being unfaithful while the cart dogs, the workers at the country club are driving his phone around the course, so Amy thinks he's golfing.
That is a story. She can see his location. Right?
Yeah.
So he would allegedly give his phone to the cart dude and say, "Hey, drive this thing around for a little while.
Here's $100. Drive this around for the next couple hours.
And I'm going to go do
I'm going to
whatever.
go socialize."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now she's seen without a wedding ring.
1,000%. I mean, this woman is a celebrity, or she's, married to one at the very least. So she understands the public image of things and how that looks amidst this saga. So 1,000%. That is, there were never any pictures of Jen Vrabel with no wedding ring.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I forget my wedding ring all the time.
As do I.
I do not have my wedding ring on right now, for example.
I forgot mine yesterday.
Now, if this were some sort of official where she was, photographed for like attending an event or something like that.
Right.
Like that? I would certainly read into it. But just a dash to the grocery store?
Who's to say she even needed groceries?
What does that mean?
I think she was like, "Oh, I'm going to go out in public with no wedding ring on. I'm going to make it look like I'm running the grocery store, and I'm going to, on purpose, forget my wedding ring at home."
Okay.
Right?
So because why is the paparazzi there at the grocery store? That's a good point. Probably because she alerted them that she was going to be there at the grocery store.
Or she just knows that every move is being watched.
Okay. So going to send that message.
But to your point, I mean, you and I are not involved in very public scandals involving our significant other.
No.
So, there are lots of days where a lot of people forget their wedding rings for whatever reason. But she knows what she's doing.
I do feel bad for this woman.
Yeah.
She's not only is she's a Utah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit of J.J. Watt thing going on.
She's from Sandy, I think. I can't remember. I think her dad either listens or used to listen or something along those lines.
Really?
But yes, she's from here. So I'm cheering for her in this situation.
But that dude,
Utah pride.
That is a crummy move.
But yeah, she probably should move on though. He seems like he's spiraling quite rapidly. We talked about whose fall from grace or whatever was more spectacular, Phil's or Tiger's, or more egregious, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of the last positive thing that I've heard associated with Phil Mickelson's name. It seems like every headline he's in has been negative over the last 5 years plus.
And now Live Tour is going out of business.
Including Live, yeah.
Yeah, Live is going out of business in this big revolution. I mean, he did make it better for PGA players. This, say what you will about this Live thing, but the PGA Tour did make adjustments and, did some things that those golfers, including Phil Mickelson, wanted to do. So maybe you can say that Phil's effort was worthwhile and he was doing it for others. But I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I mean, since he won the PGA Championship out of the blue. What was that, 5 years ago, 4 years ago? He has been in the news for the worst, most unpopular reasons, and now his messy personal life is boiling over even more than it did before, which is hard to fathom considering his gambling habit got him wrapped up in an SEC investigation, which is really something.
So I do like this move from Amy. I think it's a power move.
You think
frankly.
it is?
Yeah.
It's a flex.
I'm looking at the pictures right now. She didn't need groceries. She's wearing a Louis Vuitton purse. She didn't need groceries.
Wait just a minute here. How do you know what kind of purse it is?
I'm looking at the photos from TMZ.
You could just identify a Louis Vuitton, right?
Well, it's got the big LV.
Looking at the pictures, I don't pay attention to any of that. You do?
Yeah, she didn't need groceries.
So if it were some sort of Target brand purse, you would think it's legit?
Well, just in the sense that her bringing out the Louis Vuitton purse kind of plays into it being a power move.
Being a little staged, being a little bit
in a good way. I mean, this
flex.
is her telling her side of the story, letting Phil know, like, hey, you're not going to get rid of me.
She needs to be spotted out on a date. That's what needs to happen.
That could be the next move.
The next move.
After the split becomes official.
She has to pick somebody famous, though, and from the world of golf. That would be even a bigger flex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She needs to show up on a date with Ricky Fowler.
Okay. I don't know many single golfers.
I have no idea.
All of the golfers I think of off the top of my head are kind of notorious family men.
I have no idea what Ricky's marital status is.
Rory was almost single there for a second, but that seems to have been resolved.
Phil didn't care about marital status when he was showing those pictures around,
true.
right? To that one golfer's wife who just got up to go to the John or something, and Phil's showing her inappropriate pictures.
Well, he seems to be the outlier as far as caring about that.
Caring about marital status. Well, anyway, I don't know how much longer he's going to be married. So we are reading into this. Christian's gotten to the bottom of it. Amy Mickelson showing up sans wedding ring to get fictional groceries means that she's leaving him, or at least threatening to leave him.
She's holding a Trader Joe's bag. Her daughter was with her.
All right. So there you go. That's basically the latest in the gossip world. That does have a sports tie to it.
This line from the TMZ article. Amy and Amanda even hugged before they put their groceries in the back of her luxury SUV.
Oh, that seals it. She's leaving him. She's basically already left him. It was the hug.
But again, that's how you know it's staged. That's how you know this is put on, right?
Yeah. Well, Phil better hire an attorney. I'm sure he's got he knows plenty of them. Yeah, it's been a rough few months for Phil, getting ejected from country clubs. Do you know how bad your behavior has to be if you're a big a golf celebrity as Phil Mickelson is to get ejected from a country club? Do you know how much money those country clubs make selling country club memberships by saying, oh, Phil
Mickelson golfs here.
Phil's a member here. Are you kidding? So you know how much money they're costing themselves by ejecting Phil Mickelson? Your behavior has to be absolutely awful.
Yeah, that would be like DJ getting banned from the Delta Center.
Okay.
You know?
I don't know why you have to drag DJ through the mud, but
I'm
yeah,
just
good
thinking
point.
of the biggest celebrity we have here on the station, yeah.
Oh, well, that's David James by a mile.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that DJ would ever do anything.
No,
to get banned,
but his behavior would have to be just awful to get permanently banned from the Delta Center.
And that's what Phil has done to himself.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Anyway. So there you go. That's the latest in the gossip world. We hope the best for the Mickelson family, whatever that outcome may be.
I don't know if I hope the best for her. At this point, I'm not on Phil's side.
You're
at
not
all.
cheering for Phil?
Why would I?
Now, maybe you're too young for this, but were you ever Team Phil? I guess you're not really.
That, no.
You're not really a golf fan either.
No, and Phil was definitely before me
because Tiger was the dominant one, but Phil was the popular one. He was the one in that era of golf. He was the one everybody kind of loved and cheered for, whereas Tiger was more the dominant robot type of golfer who you cheered for if you always cheered for the famous front runner. But Phil was like the lovable, popular one. And, well, it turns out that neither one of them really have great behavior. Not in their personal lives, anyway. Yikes. All right. There you go. Amy Mickelson spotted Sands wedding ring. We'll have the audio vault coming up right around the corner. Stay tuned. It's Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Ben on vacation. He will be back coming up next week, so stay tuned for that. Right now it is time for the Audio Vault, the best sound of the day. Today's selection comes courtesy of Christian, who found this video, and I have not heard it yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing it. But you want to set this up, Christian? There's a grizzly bear on top of a power pole?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on what state this is in. That's pretty limiting because aren't too many grizzly bears roaming free in the United States. But this family appears to be driving down the road, and there's like an electrical pole, with the power lines running past it, and there's a grizzly bear on top of it. And this
is the 911
The man calls 911.
All right.
No, I'm on Highway 56.
Are you calling about a bear?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it's on the power pole.
Yeah, it's alive.
Yes. Just leave it.
Okay.
And because I already called the Game and Fish, and they said there's nothing that they could do. They could go and shoot it, tranquilize it to get it down, but it's gonna end up. If they do that, then it's gonna fall and could hurt itself. So they told me.
All right. And it is just that. It is a bear on a power pole. So what, they're just going to leave it up there to starve?
Unfortunately, I think he did pass away. I think he did die.
Falling or starving?
I think he fell.
That's rough. I don't know how he got up there in the first place. It is the darndest thing.
It's crazy. It looks like it's AI, but it's not.
My daughter asked me that the other day. She said, can bears climb trees? As if she's going through the scenario that we all do on if I were running from a bear, what would I do? And the answer to that is yes, they can climb trees. So the answer to that is make sure if you're off in the woods to go with a slower friend.
You don't have to be the fastest in the class. You just have to be faster than your friend.
Than the slowest person in the class. Yeah, that's exactly right. So always go camping with somebody who's maybe a little less fleet of foot, maybe an elderly person or somebody who's a tad bit overweight.
The bear was ultimately electrocuted.
Yikes! Really? Well,
This was in New Mexico.
What a bright, sunny audio vault today.
Yeah, sorry. Well, yeah.
Then it's probably not a grizzly bear if it's in New Mexico, right?
I guess so. I mean, this is a pretty big bear.
Have you ever seen a bear in the wild?
I have, actually. I've seen a black bear.
What'd you do?
Kept driving.
Oh, you were in the car?
Yeah.
My brother lives in the mountains, and they had a bear come through, and I can't remember. It did something like broke into the garage below their apartment or whatever. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
So he had like a run-in.
He had like an issue with a
I'll
bear.
tell you, the scariest animal I've seen in person is a moose. You
Oh,
ever seen
yeah.
a moose up close?
Uh-huh.
Way bigger. Like, you think they're big, then you see one even bigger than you thought.
I was at a Boy Scout camp when I was a young person, and there was this kid. His name was Jason. He got up in the morning. He walked to the outhouse and then came running back to camp screaming. And what had happened was there was a big moose in the outhouse, and he walked right around the corner and was right next to that moose, and then came running out screaming. And then the moose came out sauntering after.
Scary.
Yeah, they're not particularly nice, temperamented creatures either, right?
No.
You going to make your kid camp on the ground? I had this discussion with maybe it was Ben.
It was Ben, yeah. Yes.
To have that experience?
Well, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you're going camping. You're not staying in a 5-star hotel.
Well, are you going to be staying in the hotel, though, while he camps?
No, I don't mind sleeping on the floor of the tent.
Oh, I sure do.
I know you do.
I'll be here at the Hilton, and you can be camping somewhere else.
Like, can you have an air mattress? Does that count? Or is that still...
Not an air mattress.
Okay.
But it has to have a mat. You can have a
fine.
mat, but not an air mattress.
Yeah. No, that's fun. That's part of camping.
So that's what you're going to do? I still haven't. I've been promising to take my kids camping, and I still haven't done it.
Yeah. Take them up Manaway. Nice campgrounds up there.
Indeed. You've told me I need to do it. I need to just bite the bullet and do it. My wife takes my kids on these fun mom-daughter kind of trips, and I thought, I'll take my kids camping. But then I have to think, do I really want to go camping?
The idea of camping is always more fun than actually camping.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you get in the tent and you're cold and you start hearing noises in the wilderness and you're like, okay, what time is it? How much longer do I have until the sun comes up?
And everything's a lot more work than you think.
Right.
And the sun goes down, and then you think to yourself, well, what are we going to do now?
It's always more expensive than you'd think. You've got to buy all the supplies, all the food. You think it's going to be a nice, cheap activity.
And then it's not.
But
no, it's a rite of passage thing, though. Anyway, I have not really encountered many wild bears in my day. I'm kind of grateful, honestly. But if you see it in your car, I guess it's a little bit better, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. We've got Live at 5 coming up right around the corner. We'll talk some college football. And LeWait continues. We will give you an update on that. Stay tuned. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's the best station, period.
Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So, of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, we have more tickets to give away for Post Malone. Nice. Let's do it right now. 801-575-ZONE. We're going to hook you up with a pair of tickets to go see Post Malone with special guest Jelly Roll and Carter Faith at Rice-Eccles Stadium coming up on next Tuesday, July 28th. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-ZONE. Live at 5, brought to you as always by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Big stories of the day. Big story continues to be LeWait. LeWaiting on LeBron James to make up his mind and where he's going to play basketball next year. And, of course, college football in the lead up to fall camps starting in less than 2 weeks. I believe. Continues to be a big story with that, and we'll get to some audio coming up here in a second. But the latest on LeBron is there is no latest on LeBron. Shams Charania did have a report earlier today talking about LeBron has everything he needs to make a decision. They are not waiting on anything. And, in fact, Christian, whose attention is divided. Can we play the Shams cut real quick? This is Shams Charania from earlier today giving us the latest, or lack thereof, on what's going on with LeBron James in Loweit.
There's nothing left. The teams are the teams. The information's the information. LeBron has everything he needs to make a decision. The conversations have happened. They're not, from my understanding, my sources tell me the LeBron James, his agent Rich Paul, that inner circle, they're not waiting for another domino right now. They're not waiting for Anthony Davis to get traded anywhere. They're not waiting for anyone else to move around anywhere. The teams, Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Philadelphia, Minnesota, they're set. Those are the teams. Wherever he ends up, I mean, you're looking at minimum deals, you're looking at exceptions. The contracts are not going to be this grand part of this deal. LeBron James was very clear from the very beginning. This is going to be based on happiness in terms of chance to contend for a championship, a chance to compete at a high level, join a culture. That doesn't come from going to a team and then gutting that team from multiple different players. Now, listen, if during the first week of July, LeBron James and Rich Paul told, the Heat or the Cavs or the Warriors, hey, we need you to do this and we're coming, those teams might have done that. But that message was not delivered. And so you just kind of have to read between the lines if you're some of these teams and you need to figure it out. But it's at a point now, July 23rd, it's really up to LeBron James. The entire NBA is waiting on LeBron James' decision.
Yeah, Adam Silver admitted as much, that they're holding off on the schedule release. We talked to David Locke in the 4 o'clock hour earlier in the show, and he was perturbed, as am I, as somebody on the Jazz broadcast, that we haven't seen the schedule so we can, plan our lives. But we've got to wait for LeBron to make his announcement at the most opportune time, which will not be Friday in the afternoon. LeBron's not going to do that for a Friday news dump, as we talked to David James about earlier. So expect that coming up, I would hope, next week. But the news that we did get from Shams right there, the clip, is that LeBron is not waiting on a team to do some sort of action to make room for LeBron. Or, the rumors out there were that LeBron and Clutch want to basically have Cleveland make a deal to somehow acquire Anthony Davis from Washington. Shams' report there would indicate that is not the case. They are not. There's not a team out there that needs to make a couple of moves to make room for this and that for LeBron James to sign. And another notable piece of news there, that the LeBron camp does not want whatever team that ends up getting LeBron to gut the team in order to be able to get him. And there was a rumor that was out last night is when I saw it, but I've seen it a couple other places today, that there may be some sort of sign-and trade that the Jazz could be involved in to do just that, where the Jazz maybe land Jared Allen from Cleveland in some sort of sign-and trade deal that would involve LeBron James. If Shams is to be believed right there, that is not the case. Now, I don't know if Shams knows the whole truth, or if that is indeed the whole truth. I still find it fairly curious that James Harden is still a free agent and hasn't signed his, I guess it wouldn't be an extension, but signed his deal with Cleveland. That was no doubt promised to him when the trade with the Clippers happened last year, and he certainly is showing no urgency in going out and finding another landing spot. And frankly, the national media doesn't. Have you heard any national media, Christian, say, "Well, where's James Harden going to sign"? I haven't heard.
It doesn't seem to be a story. No, it's almost like he's not a free agent.
So why would they be waiting on that if not to maintain maximum flexibility for some sort of reason? I still keep coming back to that. So,
well, like DJ said, if not LeBron, then maybe DeMar DeRozan or something similar. Maybe
they do move on to a plan B. I don't know. I do think any sort of scenario where the Jazz would land Jared Allen in a trade would be pretty ideal for the Utah Jazz. I mean, imagine that, where you lose Walker Kessler, but you add a better player, which Jared Allen is better than Walker right now, I would say. Maybe not in the future, I don't know. But right now, I would take Jared Allen over Walker Kessler, and his deal is much more reasonable, as we've looked into. Jared Allen only makes around $22 million. So that would be a pretty amazing outcome for the Jazz if they came out with certainly a good player at center. Maybe they'd prefer Walker. I don't know, but I'm sure they'd take Jared Allen on a better contract, and to come out with 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps out of the situation would be pretty rosy, in my opinion, for the Utah Jazz. Ben has kind of been, I almost said harping, that's too strong, but Ben has been bringing up a bunch that the Jazz without Walker Kessler are not as good a team, which of course is true, but for how long and at what cost, and what were their goals to begin with anyway? I thought David Locke came on with us in his whole podcast series into some of these categories where the most elite teams are. And the Jazz aren't there yet, but I don't even know if people were talking about being a contending team, I don't think that's the case. So if you take a step back to take a step forward, there's a lot of logic in that to me. It's just the time frame on when the Jazz have a better option at center than Jusuf Nurkic, because now Nurk can indeed finally breathe. But I still don't think that's going to make a difference where all of a sudden he's a serviceable starting center in the NBA. He is not. He has some skills that are extremely useful and that the Jazz particularly need. And David talked about this quite a bit, but the rebounding, first and foremost. The Jazz are not a very good rebounding team, period. But without Nurk on the floor, they're really going to be a bad rebounding team. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a rebounder. But Nurk is not the long-term solution. So how long do they go with their current situation before they address it in some way, shape, or form? So I find it intriguing, the idea of a center like Jared Allen moving around. I'm sure the Jazz would be in the market to somehow make that work. And I believe that Cleveland would be open to somewhat of a reshuffling, LeBron or no LeBron, and maybe Jared Allen is where they decide to reshuffle. I don't know if it'd be where I'd start, but maybe they would.
After the shortcomings the last few years since they've added Donovan Mitchell, it's clear that they need to do something, whether that something is adding LeBron. And is that just enough, or do they need to try and bring in Anthony Davis as well? And I know that this clip from Shams is kind of saying the opposite, that LeBron's not waiting on a trade for Anthony Davis to be lined up to decide his next spot. But I do think, especially after they hand Donovan Mitchell that bag of money, eventually Cleveland is going to have to move off of either Mobley or Jared Allen. And before Giannis was traded to Miami, they were seen as a destination for Giannis, and one of those two was going to have to be involved for Giannis, right? Simply because they have been there for so long and it has not yielded any fruit, right?
So if LeBron's in love with the narrative, I think he'll pick Cleveland. If he's in love with, we talked about it earlier, if he's in love with how the movie plays out, then he's going to pick Cleveland. The final chapter in LeBron's career, going home, Akron, the little kid from Akron, all that stuff. But if he picks truly based on his current happiness, I bet he picks Miami. I think Miami is a better fit for LeBron James on and off the floor. And I'm not even, if you're a 41-year-old guy and you get to choose where you go and where you're going to live part-time, where are you going to pick? Miami or Cleveland?
It's like the Office episode where they go to Florida and Stanley goes and just treats it like a vacation.
Yeah.
What does he call himself? He straight up calls himself like Florida Stanley or something.
Yeah.
That's LeBron.
That is LeBron. I think he'd be a better fit, and the lifestyle would be much, much more appealing. And I'm not even talking about partying or anything like that. I'm just talking about
like that,
having more options in the wintertime for things to do, and to be able to truly be happy. It would be a little bit easier in Miami, I would think, than Cleveland, unless that LeBron really loves his favorite restaurants growing up and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I still would predict Cleveland, Christian, although I'm a little bit more open to Miami. I don't think he's going to Philly.
So you think Philly, Minnesota, and Golden State are off the table completely?
I think they're out.
Okay.
I think if he were going to Golden State, it probably would have happened already.
And that's another move similar to James Harden. And this was actually part of this clip from Shams. It was a longer, 3-minute clip, and I trimmed this down. He brought up Draymond Green declining his option with the Warriors, and that kind of caught everybody off guard. Yeah. And Draymond still hasn't re-signed with the Warriors.
So
it's a little bit of a similar situation to the James Harden thing with Cleveland. But, again, you're talking about fit. What does LeBron bring to Golden State? How much better does he realistically make them? Is Steph interested in doing that? Because, again, that's his franchise. That's his team.
I just wish that he would get on with it already, and let's have a decision so we can get the schedule, which would be lovely. I still say that them waiting with the schedule is dumb. I mean, they're still going to put Miami, Cleveland, Philly on TV all the time. What difference does it make?
Because, again, they already have star players that matter.
Right.
And Cleveland was in the conference finals last year.
Maybe
it's easy to sell.
Maybe if he were going to pick the Clippers or something, which they all of a sudden would put them on TV, maybe that would make a difference. But in this case, yeah, Cleveland was in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're going to put them on TV all the time. Miami has Giannis. Philly has a cavalcade of interesting players now. Or did I say Cleveland? I meant Philly.
You said Philly. Yeah.
Oh, did I? Okay. The other thing, and we're going to play a little sound here. Of course, college football as camps approach. SEC Media Day is going on this week. As July is about to come to a close, and we'll thankfully have on the field storylines to talk about. There is some news in the college football world that we can talk about. It's also in the political world. But anytime we can hear Sark crying about something, I think we should start there. This is from SEC Media Days. This is Sark talking about missing the playoffs last year.
If we beat Ohio State last year, surely we're in a much better position when it comes to the playoffs. But on the other side of it is, if I don't play Ohio State and I play Jones Junior High and we're 10-2 and our 2 losses are to Georgia and Florida, we're a playoff team. But like anything in this world, if you want to be really good at something, you got to take risk. There's a lot of value in that win if you can get the win. And so is the juice worth the squeeze or not? That's what we're all tasked with. And so I don't know yet about Notre Dame. We'll see. Because I think the committee's got to show us what happens now and what's the value that they're placing on strength of schedule. And are we going to let a 9-3 team in as an at-large? We'll find out. And I think that this year is going to be a great test to that of what that looks like.
Wow. Okay. I had not heard that. I was all prepared to clown Sark for crying about not making the playoffs, but that's not actually the point he's bringing up. The point he's bringing up is absolutely a relevant one. Why would college football programs schedule decent non-conference teams? Why? What's the reward? And I've been kind of talking about what he's alluding to for a long time, that the committee members and voters before them are dumb. And they can't get past the record. They can never get past the number of losses. That's what all these calculations are all made on is, well, this is a 2-loss team or a 3-loss team or a 1-loss team. And then you get through all the 1-loss teams, and then you move on to the 2-loss teams, and then you split hairs amongst the 2-loss teams. So to Sark's point, what was the point in playing Ohio State? There really isn't one unless you win, and then you are measured up against another 2-loss team, right? So I'm with him. You've got to I'm with him. You've got to figure out whether or not the juice is worth the squeeze. Do you get enough benefit from beating a tough team in your non-conference to make it worth it? And I think he's complaining that he was a 3-loss team and maybe should have jumped, or I guess he's not really saying that because they lost the game, but the potential benefit of winning the game, was it just a wash? Would they have gotten the same credit from beating South Alabama because their loss total is actually what matters, right? So if they would have won that game, they would have made the playoffs as a 2-loss team, not because they beat Ohio State. Does that make any sense?
No, of course. He's going to say all this, but remember the big storyline a couple months ago when Texas Tech was wanting to play them, right? He had some choice words about Texas Tech and the soft schedule that they play. And Tech offered to play Texas, and Texas won't do it. So I don't know.
But that's just pride. That's just pride messing with you. That's just Sark taking a shot at Texas Tech's pride.
Right.
And Texas Tech, with their hurt feelings, coming back and saying, oh, yeah, I'd like to see you play us. It had nothing to do with strategy to win the national championship.
Well, if he wants a good non-conference game, they open up their season this year against Texas State, right? What would look better on the resume a win over Texas State or a win over Texas Tech?
It doesn't matter. That's his point. As long as you win, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't put an L, who cares who you beat? As long as it's a W, because nobody's looking back and giving any credit towards strength of schedule. It's all about the getting the win matters way more. And when I say the win, I'm not even saying win over a good team. Getting a win on your resume is way more beneficial than the risk of losing to anybody. So you might as well not take the risk. You might as well play an automatic team because you're going to get the same amount of credit for winning the game. And losing any game is way more consequential. So why would you play the hard opponent in the first place? Secretly, I'm sure Sark is super jealous of Texas Tech's schedule.
Probably.
He would love to play a schedule where he could just roll through with 1 or 2 losses and make the playoff no problem. Does that make sense? He's calling him out for a soft schedule, but he wishes he had a soft schedule. If he had a soft schedule, he would have made the playoffs last year. That's basically what he's implying. If they did not play Ohio State last year, they would have made the college football playoff. And he's totally right. So what was the point of playing Ohio State?
If they did also lose to Florida, who finished 4-8.
And and Georgia, as he said right there. But they still would have had 2 losses. It doesn't matter.
And if
they would have been an SEC team,
she'd be my uncle.
But they wouldn't have had 2 losses if they didn't play or they wouldn't have 3 losses if they didn't play in the game.
They wouldn't have had 3 losses if they didn't lose to Florida. So I mean, it's easy to nitpick and pick the Ohio State out of conference game, but also if you handle your conference slate like you should, I mean, they have 9 conference games now.
Sure,
if you handle them like you should, that leaves you enough leeway with at least one really good out of conference game to essentially lose. You can still finish with a 10-win season if you handle your conference slate.
Okay,
you're supposed to be good enough.
Let me ask you this. Does Texas have to play Florida?
No. Do they?
Yes.
Well, they do.
They're
have to
in the
play
conference.
every
Yes,
year,
they have to play Florida. I don't even think they play every year, but you have to play the games.
Right. They have to play the conference games, yes.
You have to play the games your conference hands down. Do they have to play Ohio State?
No, they do not have to play that game.
So that's the point. They had, you can say take care of business and beat Florida. Well, they have no control over that. They have to play Florida. Whether they win or lose, they have to play that game. They don't have to play Ohio State. They can play a cupcake, and it doesn't matter. If they played a cupcake, they would have gotten into the playoff last year.
Well, strength of schedule should matter at some point, though, right?
But it does not.
Well, I mean, I think especially when it comes to expansion and you have 16 or 24 teams, right? And you're picking between, at that point, 4 9-win teams. You're going to pick the ones with the best strength of schedule, right? So I think I do think strength of schedule and your out of conference schedule, I think that is going to matter to an extent. To your point, right? Nobody made Sark's schedule Ohio State, and that was maybe a little bit of arrogance thinking that they could win that game, and that would be an automatic ticket to the playoff, which they end up losing, and they miss out on that. But at some point, you have 3 non-conference games. You got to do something with them to separate yourself from, the next SEC team.
I don't think you really do. BYU had a better strength of schedule 2 years ago than SMU, and quite literally beat SMU on the field. SMU still got in. Right. They're not even using strength of schedule when they're making those decisions down with 2 and 3 lost teams. They're not. They're picking the more popular team or the team with more groundswell or more money or all sorts of different reasons. You would hope it'd be strength of schedule, but it's not. And even then, you're down. I mean, you could make an argument strength of schedule mattered way more with the 4-team playoff because there were way fewer teams that got in. So you had to figure data points to be able to get them in. Now, I don't know why teams would schedule hard teams in the non-conference. I really don't. There's literally no benefit to it other than being able to stick out your chest and saying, yeah, we play tough teams. All right. Well, what did that get Texas last year? Nothing.
Well, maybe Texas just wasn't very good.
Christian, we're talking about a 12-team playoff. 3/4 of the teams that get in are not very good. And that problem is just getting worse, not better, if they expand it. So, yeah, Texas wasn't very good last year. Well, we're measuring up against lots of not very good teams. So I get his point. I was prepared to disagree with Sark. I totally get his point. You got to figure out a way to make scheduling non-conference more beneficial, or teams aren't going to do it.
Or at least be transparent with, does strength of schedule matter, and follow that.
But the playoff committee has there's no like consistency.
Guideline, right.
There's
That's
no
what I'm
at
saying.
all. There's none. They're just, did they wake up with heartburn that day? That's how they're making decisions, is just based on a gut feeling in the moment.
And that's why Miami got in at the last second.
Yeah, so what is it? What good does it do you? What benefit do you have from playing even if you win? Like, even if you beat Ohio State, it means the same amount as beating Ohio. Doesn't matter. Because all they care about is the loss column. How many losses do you have when weighing these decisions? Because these humans who are making the decisions aren't very smart or nuanced, for that matter. All right. There you go. There's the latest from Sark. The latest update, by the way, from a news perspective, but this is bad news. The college, what's it officially called? The bill in the Senate for college sports, the Protect College Sports Act. Well, this is reporting from ESPN. Senate Majority Leader John Thune does not expect the Protect College Sports Act will go to a full Senate vote before the August recess. This would substantially shrink the already long odds that the NCAA and its schools get an antitrust exemption. So this does not mean that the bill is dead, but this pretty much means the bill is on its way to being dead, certainly in this calendar year. So that's bad.
Shocker,
that's bad
right?
news, in my opinion. But yeah, not a shocker. No. All right. Coming up next, we're going to play a segment. David James was on with me in the 2:00 hour, and anytime you have David James on, you got to highlight that. So he was with us for our top 3 stories segment, and we covered a lot of good ground. So we're going to play that segment coming up next. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
You know what they say, 4 wheels move the body, but 2 wheels move the soul.
Poetry, mate.
But don't think my motorcycle or my soul will be moving anytime soon. Got a flat tire.
Ah, that's all right. You ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance and got their 24/7 emergency roadside service. They'll get you back on the road.
Ah, beautiful saying. You come up with that?
It's not a saying. It's a Geico motorcycle policy.
Tomato, tomato.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico. Emergency roadside service is optional coverage.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Brought to you by our friends at J. Brooks Jewelers. Actually, David's dear friend, John from J. Brooks Jewelers.
John from J. Brooks Jewelers.
Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials, J. Brooks Jewelers. The reason, though, that is funny is because you have known John, and we've had as a station, a relationship with J. Brooks for...
I'm bad on time, but certainly a decade, absolutely pre-pandemic.
Plus, probably.
Yeah.
So
he'd be a better, but whether it's 2019 or 2015, I don't know.
But they rock, and we love them. So...
True story.
All right, Christian, where do you want to start?
Number 1, the Trib put out an article talking about Kalani Sitake. BYU does not want to be the highest bidder when it comes to NIL.
It's not what they're saying anyway. Kalani wants them to be there for development and overall, well-being, as opposed to just there for the check.
He's been very clear about that. If it's just about the money, they get turned off recruiting kids. If that's the first thing that comes up, they get turned off recruiting kids. They'll pay people, and they will. Their NIL is good. And if it weren't, they'd be losing more kids. And they have a fair number of kids who are A, pretty good football players, and B, not church members. Certainly for the kids who grow up, church members, the return missionary kid, there are absolutely other things than money. It's not all about the money. But I think in those situations, you got to at least be in the ballpark. And it's basketball, not football, but it was so public, and I don't think there's that much difference in the way high school athlete thinks, regardless of their sport. It's like, you think you're worth a certain amount of money. Well, for A.J. DeBonce, it was like $5 million. If you're not paying me $5 million, I'm not coming. Now, there were multiple schools that are going to pay him $5 million, but he didn't turn it into an auction for the highest bidder. There was also a, where do I want to be? Where do I feel comfortable? Who's going to develop me? Who's got NBA experience on the coaching staff? What kind of schedule are you going to play? What kind of competition am I going to face? They had all these other questions. And that's a pretty good balance. I think it's unrealistic to say, well, the money just doesn't matter. Well, if you're independently wealthy, that's great, but that's going to be a super small portion of the population.
Yeah.
So, but to say, hey, I'm worth X, you got to get to X, and then let's see how many competitors there are at that point and where I really feel comfortable. To go someplace where you're miserable just for the money, whether you're a college athlete or you're our age, and we're different ages, doesn't matter where you are in your career, to go just for the money, it had better be a pile of money because there is a decent chance you're not happy. And when you complain about not being happy, you're going to get hit with the legendary line, which I think started with Mad Men and now has been repeated over and over. I know Harrison Ford likes to use it. That's what the money's for.
Right.
Well, hey, that's what the money's for.
I want to channel your co-host in the morning, Patrick Kinahan, because I've heard you guys have this discussion a bunch of times because of that anonymous quote that a BYU donor gave that said they will not be outbid. And then they've spent a considerable amount of time and energy running away from that. And what Kalani is saying here is no different than any other team in the country or coach or whatever is going to say. I just don't understand why they're putting that story out there and running away from the NIL and from the money so publicly and so much. What does it matter? And you know what? You're telling me that if it takes, whatever it takes to get Bear Bachmeier onto the field, well, you're going to do it. Whether money's his first priority or his eighth priority, you're going to give him money and you're going to give him a lot of it. He's there because BYU has resources. So why do they so much energy into running from that?
Yeah, and
I don't get it.
I don't think everybody has the same agenda, although it might sound similar, or maybe it just sounds exactly alike to some people.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody has the same agenda. When I hear coaches say it, and I've heard coaches say it in multiple sports, and I've heard coaches say it, some who are at BYU, some who are not, some who are in the state of Utah, some are out of the state of Utah. What they have in common is, we'll pay you. Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State, the ex-coach, goes on this list. We'll pay you. But if all you ever do is talk about money, you're not going to watch enough film. You're not going to work hard enough in the weight room. You're not going to put in the extra time at home watching more film, looking at your playbook, doubling and tripling down to make sure that you know every formation, you know every defense, everything the other defense does. You know, if you're an offense and you're a receiver, you know what the quarterback is thinking. You don't have to look at him. You know what the adjustment's going to be. You know when and where the ball is going to be thrown because of the look the defense gives you. And you need everyone on the defense to see the offense break this, to see the personnel, see the formation, and know what play is coming. Because you've all watched that much. When someone doesn't know, it breaks everything down. And if all you do is money, 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 the other stuff's going to suffer. And you're not going to be the best player you can be. We will address the money, you will get a pile of money, and then we will move on. And if you can't embrace that as a player, the move on part, then Kalani and a bunch of other coaches are next. And one of the cool quotes that goes back to this is Kalani was asked once about how fast somebody was or how fast a group of players was. I think it was last year. And he said, well, I mean, I want them to be fast, but I also want them to run in the right direction when the ball is snapped.
Great line.
Fabulous line, right?
Great line.
And we're talking to Bronco one morning. Bronco Mendenhall, Aggie coach, comes on, and I tell him that, and this is Bronco, who's not known for being a laugh a minute, right? He's a fairly serious guy. And he's like, oh, Bronco has so used that line. Bronco has absolutely stood in a room with the defense or with the backs of the linebackers like, I want you to be fast, but could you run the right way? Because every coach has had kids blow assignments, run, and they're like, we talked about it in film. We talked about it on the practice field. We talked about it again in film, and you still ran the wrong way.
Yeah.
What is the key?
I'm glad you brought up Bronco, though, because, listen, Bronco has said something very similar to these quotes to Kalani that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You're going to come to Utah State for more, and if you're going to be on the team, more. Now, Bronco coaching at Utah State, they don't have any money. So he actually means that. Kalani, they're flush with dough. Why are they running from it? I don't get it.
They have, everybody has money, right? But they don't have as much money as someone who might pry their kid away from them. So don't say the Aggies don't have any money. They have some money. And that's why they're prying kids away from other schools. But they got kids prying away from them because they're in the middle of the food chain. There are both bigger fish and smaller fish.
Does Bronco's quote similar to Kalani's mean more, though? I think it does. But I think they're both just getting the PR line out there that they've got to get out there.
Well,
I just don't know why Kalani's doing it.
They do have bosses. Well, he has bosses in the church.
Why are they so sensitive?
Well, because there are some who want it to be 40 years ago and have that not be an issue.
Yeah.
And they want to, and that's just not realistic. It's not true. I don't think it's honest. I don't think you should talk to the public like that because the public knows better.
Yeah.
Right? So,
like that?
Yes, exactly. So, but when a coach, you got to allow a coach for they're dealing with numbskulls who get so focused on the money and then they don't work as hard and they blow assignments. And that's why coaches say it. Now, why do other people say it? Why does a church leader say it? Why does a school president say it? Why does maybe a longtime booster say it? They might have a different agenda. I think they probably do have a different agenda than a coach who says it. It lands differently based on who's saying it.
What is next, Christian?
Number 2, Shams with the latest on LeDecision today, talking about LeBron James, said he's not waiting for a trade involving Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving to make his decision.
Nothing left. The teams are the teams. The information's the information. LeBron has everything he needs to make a decision. The conversations have happened. They're not, from my understanding, my sources tell me LeBron James, his agent Rich Paul, that inner circle, they're not waiting for another domino right now. They're not waiting for Anthony Davis to get traded anywhere. They're not waiting for anyone else to move around anywhere. The teams, Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Philadelphia, Minnesota, they're set. Those are the teams. Wherever he ends up, you're looking at minimum deals, you're looking at exceptions. The contracts are not going to be this grand part of this deal. LeBron James was very clear from the very beginning. This is going to be based on happiness in terms of chance to contend for a championship, a chance to compete at a high level, join a culture. That doesn't come from going to a team and then gutting that team from multiple different players. Now, listen, if during the first week of July, LeBron James and Rich Paul told, the Heat or the Cavs or the Warriors, hey, we need you to do this and we're coming, those teams might have done that. But that message was not delivered. And so you just kind of have to read between the lines. If you're some of these teams, you need to figure it out. But it's at a point now, July 23rd, it's really up to LeBron James. The entire NBA is waiting on LeBron James' decision.
The entire NBA is waiting.
Well, everybody's waiting on the schedule, so there's that. The commissioner told the truth. And on top of that, you got unrestricted free agents like DeMar DeRozan. Once LeBron signs, there'll be some teams with some money left. There'll be some teams who have roster spots to fill and money to spend. And
Except for
then he can get on with his life.
None of those teams have any money. And that's why what Sham said is important, that the contract isn't really a deal. Yep. And he doesn't want to, I think that's interesting, he doesn't want to gut the team that he's going to sign with. So, maybe there is that. But it's not like if Cleveland doesn't get LeBron, they're going to go sign DeMar DeRozan. Maybe they would. But would DeMar DeRozan take a vet minimum contract? Because that's what they're talking about.
I've read multiple people saying there are multiple people in the league waiting for LeBron to sign. Foremost among those, DeMar DeRozan. So once he signs, I guess we'll be able to look back and figure out, because of that, he was waiting for this. Or maybe we'll hear, well, if it had been that would have impacted him. But since it didn't happen, now he does this.
By the way, I'm talking myself into Miami with this lifestyle happiness thing. Like thinking he's going to go to Miami and those reasons. Because if you really were doing happiness,
That and Miami's accidental video.
Yeah.
They put together a video with a specific date on it. Put together a video and be ready just in case.
But it doesn't have a date on it.
But when you put a date on it, come on. I think you know something.
All right. Well, bad day to be that
LeDecision.
YouTuber.
I don't think it's a Friday news dump, so I think
no.
at this point we're waiting for a Monday. He's going to maximize it.
As much as he can.
This is right next to the decision. It's different, but it's something.
Next.
Number 3, it's late July. That means NFL training camps are underway. A week from today is the Hall of Fame game, kicking off the preseason.
Are they going to do it on that crappy field like they always do?
Yeah. Why would they change now?
I don't know. Why do they do that?
Because it's literally right next door to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I know where it is, but fix it.
What part would you like fixed?
The field.
It's a turf field.
Yeah, to get people hurt.
Well, that's all. Turf versus grass is a whole other discussion. The reason it's turf is because multiple high schools play there. There are places that have stadiums that play, a whole district plays there, a whole, they'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 games, a Thursday game, a Friday doubleheader, a Saturday tripleheader. And then the schools save money because they don't have to buy as much land and everybody has their own stadium. They have to do their own upkeep and blah, 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 blah. And they don't have to do that.
Oh, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I heard you had Kevin on today. Kevin was good, chopping up the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I love it that Bo Nix sucking was a topic on Scotty and the coach because I think he's terrible. And Christian is a huge Broncos fan. So
why do you think he's terrible?
Because Christian likes him.
Okay, so it is nothing.
He doesn't actually have an opinion on it.
Nah, he's pretty bad.
How is he pretty bad if they double-digit wins, win the division, win a playoff game, they're in the conference title game, which if he had played, they might have won.
Yeah, might have.
But without him...
I don't know. Stidham's pretty good.
I think one big thing... Stidham was terrible. What are you talking about? I think one big thing they have going for them is that and I can call up his salary, I think it's around 8 or 10 million, something like that, is that they've got a lot of money to spend on the rest of the roster. And their defense is excellent. And Houston's same deal. The quarterback's still on a rookie deal. Their defense is excellent. That's a huge advantage. Now, Bo Nix is going to want to be paid. How much is he going to want to be paid? 30 mil, 40 mil, 50 mil, 60 mil. Where's that going to go? How much winning is he going to do before they negotiate that deal? And how much is that going to damage the rest of the roster? And can he really carry the show? Because there were 10 quarterbacks last year made $50 million. There'll be 12 this year. Last year, only half of the 10 made the playoffs. And Mahomes had the injury. But paying a quarterback who's had success a lot of money doesn't guarantee you more success. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, Stafford was not among the elite. Now he is. Now he's making $55 million. But he was making, I think, 15 less than that. Mm-hmm. And Seattle, how did Darnold do it? Well, they paid him $33 million. That gives him an extra $20, $25 million to spend. And they had an awesome defense. And they had not one but 2 good running backs. And on down the line, they put a great team around him, and they won the Super Bowl.
If you're going to pay a quarterback, make sure he's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Brock Purdy stinks.
But if Josh Allen took 40 instead of 57 or whatever he's at, would he have a Super Bowl title now because he had a better team around him?
Probably.
So you pays your money and you takes your choice. You take a little less, you might win a little more, and then you might get it back down the road. Or don't worry about it. Take all you can get.
All right, stay tuned. More with David James. One more segment with DJ coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good night's sleep.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
What you think of my new saddle, Lizard?
Oh, yeah, it's swell, mate. Proper comfy.
Just one of the upgrades I've added to this puppy.
What else have you got on here?
new air intake filter, quick shifter, and a beefy muffler.
Well, that's why you ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance, so you can cover your custom parts and equipment. Now let's hear that muffler purr.
All right, hang on tight to my love handles.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got him made Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my.
SMU had a better record than BYU 2 years ago. At the end of the 12-game season, which is why they got in, they picked up their second loss in the conference championship game, and the committee made it clear they would not penalize them for losing in an extra game.
I think in general, Jake makes a really good point about football teams not scheduling hard non-conference games. But I will say, if you're Texas and you schedule Ohio State and you beat Ohio State, that win might just be a win to you, but it's also a loss for Ohio State. And that could potentially open up a playoff spot for either you or somebody else, especially if you are the team that beat them.
There you go. Thanks for the voicemails. First one from MG, the second one from Austin, making good points. If you are Texas, or if you are any, I would say, we could say P4, but certainly a Big Ten or an SEC school, what's the point of having a tough non-conference? The downside seems to outweigh the upside. But appreciate the historical clarification, MG. And then Austin, you're right. If Texas would have beat Ohio State, it would have damaged them as well. But now there's so many teams to get in. Are you really that worried about damaging other teams? Does it really matter?
Well, I think that game's too hard to play. But the historical clarification is funny because what was BYU's record at the end of 12 games last year?
Oh, yeah, right. And then they were punished
were punished because they lost the Big 12 championship. So to your point, Jake, you brought this up earlier, there is no consistency. There is no guideline. It really just is a matter of when this final poll comes out, who do the voters want in? And that's who gets in.
That's who gets in. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's always been super inconsistent. It's about who they want to get in. And who was the beneficiary of that last year? Alabama, right?
Well, Miami was the big one, but yeah.
Miami because they beat Notre Dame.
Right.
And then Alabama got in because they cried so much the year before about not getting in that they didn't want to put up with that again, and so they put Alabama in. Yeah, it's whatever they're in the mood for.
The storyline was Kalani just needs to cry more.
Yes, yeah.
Kalani needs to hammer the table a little bit more, a little harder.
He's not going to do that, though.
Right.
Which I kind of like that about him. But it doesn't mean that that's the right move for his football team. If he really wants BYU to be included, yeah, he should be howling. But no, he's not going to do that. But great voicemails. Appreciate those guys, MG and Austin. Appreciate you weighing in. If you have something to say, leave a voicemail. You can download the KSL Sports app, then go down to the voicemail button, which I believe is at the bottom, and then you can record a message, and it goes right to Christian in the control room. And as always say, this is for Jake and Ben. We do that because we also want to include our friends from the future, the podcast listeners, and we don't want the other shows stealing your great material. That is our job. We steal your great material. So leave it anytime. Say it's for Jake and Ben, and we will get to them. We even get to them even, again, for our podcast listeners, even if it's a couple of days later, we never mind revisiting things.
Especially with the holiday weekend coming up. No shows tomorrow, right? So that gives everybody an extra day to collect some thoughts and send them in.
Yes. And tomorrow, Christian's going to be marching in, what is it called, Christian?
I'm not in a parade tomorrow, no. The Peach Days is in September.
Oh, it's in September.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's not tomorrow.
No, tomorrow will be Lloyd Cole, Salazar,
and
Tim Lacombe.
I'm going to go to the Peach Days parade just to throw peaches at you.
So, really sad story about peaches this year. There actually will not be any Brigham City peaches. They all froze. All the trees froze, and it's actually a terrible story.
That is terrible.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And you said they're bringing Peach Days back?
Well, they do Peach Days every year.
Oh, okay.
KSL doesn't always send a float up there.
I see. But we are sending one up there this year.
Yes.
And you are going to be...
I made sure that they are going to put me front and center.
Are you going to drive it?
I don't know if I'm allowed to drive a float.
Probably not. But will you stand on the float and wave as opposed to just walk like we did last year?
Probably. Or maybe I will walk so I can take pictures with everybody, like our guy Dan.
Yeah. Well, you are a celebrity up there.
Up there, yeah.
All right, 6 o'clock hour coming up next. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Now at McDonald's, get a $5 McChicken meal deal or a $6 McDouble meal deal. They come with small fries, a soft drink, and 4-piece McNuggets. We're going to need a bigger tray. Get more value with your meal deal with McValue.
Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.